jackass. I mean, that's the biggest story in a long time. The Chiefs moving to Kansas, and you just simply ignored it. What in the heck is that all about? 913-912-4810. Let's get into it and start the show and talk about what this year has been. And so I think it's just a general question. 2025, from January 1st, all that it encompasses to today, sports specific, it's a good year? Was it a rough year, bad year, or was it, it's just a year? Some good, some bad. It sort of evens out on the weight scale on the positive and the negative. Good, bad, indifferent. How are you feeling, Sterling, as we wrap up the final day of 2025 with Chris Oladokin at the podium today?
Well, it's really hard because you made a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You had the AFC Championship game against the Bills.
Yeah, that all happened in 2025.
And so that would scream good.
Yeah. Missouri basketball was playing well. Kansas was, going along in basketball. But, you had some positive things. Missouri had back-to-back double-digit win seasons in football. And there was some things that happened in 2025 that were positive.
I'd probably say closer to even, which I think most people would say disaster because of the Chiefs and what we found out they did regular season-wise. But I think it's a little unfair because I do think if you look back in 10 years and say, well, you at least made a Super Bowl even though you got BTA, belt to ass, in it, I think you'll look back and say, well, I mean, let's be real. They still made a Super Bowl. That is very impressive. The Royals were a maybe slight disappointment, but they still went 82-80, and they signed Bobby Witt Jr. That would have been in probably like January. Extension for Michael Garcia. Jack Caglione, we'll find out. He was disappointed, but I still think the draft pick would have been considered a good one. I don't know. Again, the start of Missouri, or the start of the year for Missouri basketball, last January, March, good. So far, disaster. I do think we do have to put the stadium into the equation of they're not leaving. Chiefs aren't. So that's at a minimum. That's at least even though people's thoughts on Arrowhead will be mileage may vary. And then I think it's a negative that we still have zero idea that the Royals, where they're going to go. I mean, we have an idea, but there's nothing concrete, I should say.
Yeah.
Right? So I think overall I will say even, which it's not me trying to be a cop-out. I think that's actually pretty aggressive because I think most people will say bad because of the immediate reaction of right now of Darren Peterson not really playing, of Mizzou basketball being buns, of all three local college football teams being atrocious, with the Chiefs doing what they did. But again, if you have to look back to the start of last year, last January and February and March, and I think things were a little different there. So I'll say even overall.
I think you're right. I think all the college teams disappointed. The Royals definitely disappointed. And even the Chiefs did in the Super Bowl. But they made a Super Bowl. And for that reason alone, it's got to be a good year. Because, we could be looking at 2026 and like, oh, man, the Chiefs didn't make the Super Bowl and they didn't make the playoffs. And they're not even in playoff contention next year. And obviously, we hope that's not the case. But I think you got to take wins when you can. And that AFC Championship game, even though they didn't get it done in the Super Bowl 2 weeks later, I think that's a massive win.
Here's what makes it difficult for me is when we look at this year, if we look at this year in a vacuum, and I don't know why it would be in a vacuum, but if we looked at it just simply, it's in a vacuum, and do not consider what has happened the last 11 years in Kansas City from what had happened the previous 50, you would look at it and go, it's a great year. Royals finish above 500. Chiefs go to a Super Bowl. They win a Lamar Hunt trophy. This is amazing what happened. The college football teams and the college basketball teams, but really the two main sports there in Kansas City finished above 500 and went to a Super Bowl. There's no getting around that. That's a good year in sports in Kansas City. The problem is, for me, and what makes it a little more difficult of just, it's a good year, it's a bad year, and what maybe makes it more of an okay year and just an even year, even though they went to a Super Bowl, is that we are coming off the greatest stretch 11 years in Kansas City sports history.
Well, and even to the Royals, made the playoffs the year prior.
Right. I mean, just 11 years where in football, you've got 7 AFC championship games. You've been to 5 Super Bowls. You've won 3 Super Bowls in these 11 years. The Royals have gone to 2 World Series and won a World Series. In those 11 years, they had a 500 or better record. Out of the 11 years, they were 500 or better 5 different times. Before this 11-year stretch, to get to 5 times of being at 500 or better, you had to go back to 1989 to have 5 years combined over that stretch until 2014. KU won a national championship. They went to 2 Final Fours. K-State won 6 bowl games in that time, won a Big 12 football championship, won a Big 12 basketball championship, 2 Elite 8 runs for Kansas State basketball. Mizzou back-to-back double-digit win seasons for the 3rd time in their college football history. And even in 2014, since we're going back there, they played in an SEC championship game, and they won the East in that time. Mizzou basketball won a tournament game, so that's better than better than what it was. Heading
Not really.
to that. Not really.
No.
No.
Missouri basketball.
We can
There's no. Yeah,
we just sort of set them to the side a little bit.
we
Slide
don't
them
talk about
right
Bruno.
on over. We don't talk about Bruno, and we don't need to talk about Mizzou basketball in this stretch. But coming off the greatest 11 years in Kansas City sports history, it's hard to then look at this year and go, oh, it was good. It's a good year. It's a good year in sports. The success has been so vast and high degrees of success that 3 different teams locally won a championship. Whether you're a KU basketball fan or not, it's a local team that won a national championship. The Royals won a World Series in that time, in this 11-year stretch. And the Chiefs won 3 Super Bowls. And they went to a Super Bowl this year, but they lost. And so I guess it wouldn't be 5 Super Bowl appearances. I guess if we're not counting this year, heading into this year, that 11 years would have been 4 Super Bowls and 3 Super Bowl wins. They would have gone 3-1 in Super Bowls and won back-to-back Super Bowls in this 11 years. And then 2025 starts, they lose the Super Bowl, they have a disaster of a season, Mahomes rips up his knee, the 3 local college football teams all disappoint in their own special way. K-State is under 500 and doesn't make the postseason in basketball again. Mizzou loses in the first round, is upset. KU loses in the first round of college basketball. I think if we didn't live through if you woke up from 2012 or 13 and you're going, hey, Sporting won the MLS Cup, that's badass. And then you come to this year and you go, the Chiefs went to the Super Bowl, they won a Lamar Hunt trophy, the Royals are above 500, they were right there in contention at the end. That's a good year.
Yeah.
It's just hard to do that with the previous 11 that are the most successful run, with each part of the local teams having their addition to the totality of what has been this successful run. I'd say it's even just because without the past decade, it's a good year.
Yes.
But the past decade would make it a bad year. But I can't look at a year where the Chiefs go to a Super Bowl and the Royals are in contention for a playoffs as saying, this was a bad sports year.
Correct.
That would be too spoiled of a sports fan in Kansas City.
Well, bummer. I thought everyone was going to say bad, and I thought I was a smart one that said even, but it sounds
You're so
like
stupid.
Well,
You're
now
stupid for
I
thinking
am
you were
dumb
smart.
because I'm agreeing with you guys, which in totality
Makes us all dumb.
in this vacuum that apparently we're in. Which
We're
how
all
did I
in
get
a
in this
vacuum.
vacuum?
Yes.
Get me out of this vacuum.
Well, in a nutshell, why am I in this nutshell?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Get
why
me
am
out
I-
of this nutshell.
What's the point of being in this nutshell? It's amazing to look back before this year started. Like heading this time last year, we're like, my God, man, this is a Chiefs team that is wrapping up the number 1 seed, going for a three-peat, and a chance to go to 5 Super Bowls in 6 years, a chance to three-peat. They're back-to-back Super Bowl champions. The Royals won a playoff series. Mizzou and football is doing what they're doing. Basketball looks better. Like there were so many things.
World Cup counts, I guess.
Yeah,
We have the draw now.
The World Cup having the draw announced, and we already knew that they were coming to Kansas City and everything like that. But the World Cup draw is pretty awesome to know what you have in Kansas City, and you got a pretty good draw
Yes.
for what the games might
That's
be.
what I was saying. I think that'd be a above average draw.
You're choked up about this year.
Sorry, I was laughing
You're
with
battling
you.
it. You're battling it. I know, man. You're battling through. You're playing injured.
I have not had a sick day all of 2025, and I was not gonna miss the final day. This is almost me proving a point to myself. We're not gonna miss a day in 2025.
Good for you.
On sick days.
Yeah, Friday he'll be out. Michael, he will be out sick on Friday.
That might be.
It's
Well, that's part of my New Year's resolution. Miss more days. Miss more sick days.
capitalize.
Call in sick more often.
My New Year's resolution is to exhaust my sick days.
Yeah, I didn't use a single one this year. I was like, no, we're powering through. And so I was
Do
like,
those roll over, or is it use it or lose it?
I think you lose it.
Okay, well, you got to
lose it.
Then you got to take more.
I use
sick
them.
days.
Well, I use them for golf. Let's be real now. So I was like, no, it's not happening. I woke up yesterday morning like I feel like relatively fine. I worked out yesterday. Went into the steam room for like 30 minutes. I'm like, let's just.
Did you put some leeches on you just to get the bad stuff out of your blood?
I bled myself. I like
Smart.
the old time where you just. Which, by the way, what a
Smart.
dumb thing back in the day. Hey, you're sick and you're about to pass out. Yeah, let's bleed you.
Well, I mean,
Man, that's dumb.
you don't know until you try.
That
All right.
seems like
Did
the
we know-
one thing you shouldn't do.
Did we know that bleeding out or putting leeches on you did not cure you? We didn't know that until we tried.
And
If
so-
you don't try, you can't fail.
And so here I am battling through because we were not. I could do a Creed Humphrey, I guess, and I have the start streak and then leave.
And then leave at 11 o'clock. I'm out. Cynthia's in. I'm out.
I'm out. I'm just
Comes in
done.
for 30 minutes. The first segment.
Yeah,
just
it's the
leave.
first drive.
I technically got my start. It counts, and now I get to leave. My son, before we went to Louisville for Christmas break, the flu had broken out at the school.
Oh, Darcy had it too.
Yeah, like it had gone through, and we're like, well, we can't head to Louisville to be around her family if one of us has the flu.
Yeah.
So we held Jules and Everett, and Jules was kind of sick, but we held Jules and Everett out of school the last day before Christmas break so that they you know what, we're just going to hedge our bets here. That's the first day of school he has missed in like 2 years.
Man.
And it wasn't even
You
a sick-
ruined his streak.
And it wasn't even
You
a sick
ruined his streak.
Yeah, and he didn't care. He was like, "Oh, I can stay home. Heck yeah, this is awesome." And it wasn't even a sick day. It was because other people were sick around him that it was like, you're so healthy, we can't risk you being unhealthy this
Yeah,
one
no,
time.
I did not have that in college, nor high school, nor middle
Oh,
school,
I didn't
nor
either, man.
elementary. Anytime the NAIA tournament came around, I was gone. My dad took me out. That was our hooky day
Home,
for the NAIA tournament.
Home opener at the Royals.
Yeah,
It was like
home opener.
You're skipping school.
NAIA tournament where my
Yeah.
dad and I would go for a couple days, just sit there and
Big
watch.
12 tournament out at Kemper.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I just coughed so hard.
Did you?
I threw my neck out.
Wow.
You know how you sleep in your neck wrong and it hurts?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I just during that coughing battle, I think that means I lost. I think.
Yeah, you did not
I
win
did
that
not
battle.
win that battle. But we'll see if we win the war. They're playing some dirty games now by throwing my side of my neck out.
Believe me,
Bad year. You know what? 2025, bad year.
What a way to go out having a neck injury. Spinal.
How'd you hurt your neck? I coughed on radio.
Yeah. It's better than the 2-year run that I had with my messed up neck that I couldn't really move or throw or do anything with my arm because of landscaping. I pulled landscaping duty because my fingers were hurting from knitting, and now your back's going to hurt. Actually, it's my neck with a bulging disc.
How will this affect my Golden Tee game?
That's a great question.
And my dark, I
No
don't know.
Thursday night football. There isn't a Thursday night football tomorrow night.
Oh,
so
I
are you
might-
going to play gold? What are you going to do?
I might tonight. I might have to be on the IR.
Wednesday night football with the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
You got Miami, Ohio State tonight.
If you think I'm not going and watching that, you're gourd.
Okay, great. I mean, are you going to play some Golden Tee? Or are you going to have to
That
play
was the
injured?
plan. I
You
might
can play
injured.
left-handed?
I might have to go lefty.
You swing lefty when it comes to the actual golf. Do you play Golden Tee left-handed? Oh, see, that's cheating.
Again, I've told you, left-handed in golf is you're actually right-handed.
Okay,
Don't
I
make
get
me
it.
do this argument again.
No, I'm not going to. I'm not going to do that. We will take a timeout. We'll come back so we're all on board with it being good and bad. Bad based on what the previous 11-year run was in this area, good based on any other year outside of that, essentially, that we would have said was a good year, kind of evens out to it being some highs, some lows. It's a fine year.
Yeah.
It's a fine year in sports, but it's just been some amazing years in sports, the previous 11. Let's hope this is just a small hiccup. And next year, the Royals are back in the playoffs, and the Chiefs are back on top of the AFC West again and going to yet another Super Bowl. Let's just hope that is the case. And it starts tomorrow is what it does. We continue with more Zone coming up next.
I might be sick, but you know what's sick in a cool way? FanDuel Sportsbook, live in the Show Me State. They're kicking things off with an incredible offer because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets, win or lose. Yes, $5. $300 in bonus bets, win or lose. So whether it's football, basketball, hockey, or more, you can bet all on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. I've been loving NBA. Darcy knows while Jason was gone, the NBA bets were electric. It was a great time. Jason comes back. All of a sudden, what happens? Bets go back to bad. Huh? I think there's only one answer. Jason's bad luck. He's the bad luck charm for me. But I still have so much fun, again, on the best app out there. So all you need to do, download FanDuel today or head to FanDuel.com/Missouri to join in on all the excitement. Because Missouri, it's time to play your game with FanDuel.
21 plus and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com.
All right, so let's get into some of the bigger storylines of the year. We're each going to go through our top 2 storylines that we thought were the biggest stories of this year. We did not talk about this before to compare notes. We might have some overlapping. We may not. You know, it's in the eye of the beholder with what the 1 or 2 stories are from this season. I'll go first because you guys went first yesterday with some of your stories. I'll go first with what my number 2 story of the year was for me. And again, caveat, none of us are using the Chiefs and moving to Kansas because that's the biggest one. They got a dome. All right, we're not gonna use that one, okay? My number 2 storyline of the entire season is the Mahomes injury. And I'm going with that with number 2 because I have a number 1 that I think is a bigger story this year. But the Mahomes injury, it's not just missing the playoffs because they were going to miss the playoffs before. It's the fact that there's now an unknown for next year. It's a story this year that then affects next year, that makes next year an unknown for the 2026 Chiefs season in what we hope is just a hiccup of a continued dynasty, that this is a small pause in the dynasty and not a finish line for the dynasty. But for how bad the year was, and for it to end the way that it did, watching Mahomes go down the tunnel, having to be helped, having his arms around 2 trainers to help him to the locker room, which sort of signified to me, I thought there was some symbolism in that, and I said it at the time, that Mahomes was being carried, and that literal picture that we saw was the figurative picture of the rest of the team with Mahomes on the other side. The rest of the team being helped, and Mahomes is the one that's carrying the weight of the last couple of years to overcome the flaws that have been on this team, and it just got too heavy. And eventually his body gave from taking the hit after hit after hit after hit, create the hit, and I think it all sort of culminating in that game, that play, to where so many people locally and maybe more importantly, nationally, have come to some sort of a conclusion that there is way too much on the plate of Patrick Mahomes. And this is what happens. He's continuing to get hit. The offensive line is better, but why is he having to leave pockets? Why? Well, maybe some of it is what Mahomes does. Granted, fine. But also we can see some of the all-22s where it's like, what are they doing here? There's nobody open. The only way this can become a play is on the second play with Mahomes creating. That is not a good strategy here. And I think nationally people coming to the conclusion that there needs to be some sort of an update with what's going on offensively. So I think all of that is encompassed in this building of, from 2022, the number 1 offense in the league after trading Tyreek Hill and winning the Super Bowl and putting 30-plus points on the board against the Eagles in that amazing second half where they did everything and anything they wanted. They got every single yard they wanted except for the time that they didn't want it. So any yard they wanted to get, they got against the Eagles in the second half. And from that point to then Mahomes being helped off the field was the slow erosion is one way to put it. And honest, and I'll say we pushed back on Stephen Ruiz writing that earlier this year when he said the slow erosion of the Chiefs dynasty, and we said, let's chill here. Okay, they lost a couple of games. The Jags game was random, but they have bounced back. They beat the Ravens, yes, before the Jags, and they beat the Lions and the Commanders, and they are looking much different. They're still the Super Bowl favorites, so let's chill on the erosion of the Kansas City Chiefs dynasty here. But that's ultimately what it was. So credit where credit is due with him writing that and giving actual sort of detail and thought to it rather than just Jason McIntyre for the 4th straight year saying this team is not going to make the playoffs and then taking a victory lap when they don't. After going to 3 straight Super Bowls when he said when they traded Tyreek Hill, the Chiefs were going to finish 3rd or 4th in the division after trading Tyreek Hill. That's my number 2 story because of all that it encompasses with the Chiefs. And now heading into 2026, Sterling, with the just complete and total unknown of what this offseason is going to be for Mahomes, and if number 15 is going to be the quarterback on September 13th when the Chiefs play Week 1 in 2026.
Yeah, you and I kind of have a similar one. This is basically my number 1. Is just,
Okay.
It's the same thing. It's the schematic.
So the number 1 is combined with the schematic part of the Chiefs.
Yeah, because I think it's all encompassing. So to me, this is lockstep, and so I'll kind of combine mine because I know I've talked about it a lot, and especially
I thought your number 1 would have been your neck injury.
that's up there. My neck injury is very painful. It's somehow getting worse. I don't like this. No, it was along the lines, and I talked about this a lot when you were gone. To me, 2022 is the year you look at as the high water mark for change of when things evolved, and that was maybe their second iteration under Andy Reid. That's the post-Tyreek Hill era for KC. They averaged 29.2 points per game. They were electric. They were fun. And quite frankly, defenses didn't know what to do. Well, they won a Super Bowl. It was, I don't want to say easy, but that team was very impressive.
Yeah.
2023, they averaged 21.8 points per game. A little misleading because of them sitting the guys, the final game of the... I guess, no, that would have actually been in 2024. Yeah.
Yeah, last two... in 23 they did it as well, right?
I was trying to think if they sat their guys or not the last game.
Because that was the Chargers game, and I think Gabbert played that game,
I
right?
think you're right. So, so they sat their guys that game, but they averaged 21.8 points per game that year. It was a huge drop-off, but they...
Wasn't that the Chris Jones where he needed the extra sack to get the bonus?
Yeah, I think you're right.
And so Chris Jones played, nobody else did. Kelsey didn't play, and Kelsey said that week off meant so much, and so then they went to Buffalo, they went to Baltimore, and Kelsey looked like old Kelsey. So, yeah, that was a game where they did. So back-to-back years, 23-24, they rested in Week 18.
So that may take 1 point maybe off, but it's not a ton. But, again, they won a Super Bowl. Defenses figured them out a little bit. But the Chiefs' defense was amazing that year. They averaged 17.3 points per game given up. But offensively, it was a massive step back, right? Huge. But they won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And so you go back-to-back, and what does the team do? Well, we're not going to change offensively because why would we? We've won back-to-back Super Bowls. And Patrick, after the season, said, this wasn't quite as fun. That probably pissed off a lot of Bills fans and Ravens fans. And
even a walk-off overtime touchdown pass to win the Super Bowl, which is as storybook as it gets, it wasn't as fun.
It wasn't as fun.
The journey wasn't as fun as other years.
And then 2024 happened, which was last year. And they averaged 22.6 points per game. They went 15-2. Variance was on their side.
Yeah. And
everyone kept sitting here going, well, all right, maybe there's a team of destiny going for 3 straight. But offensively, we all saw it was a grind. They went from over 7,000 yards in 2022 to 5,972 in 23 to 5,500 in 24. This year they have 5,200. So, I mean, there is a clear decline. But to me, I understand to an extent why they stayed with it. Defenses knew what they were doing, but they kept winning games. So what are you going to do? Are you going to overhaul and risk losing games now? No, I get it. But they went into this year with the exact same game plan offensively they had in 2022.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? That's 4 years now of the decline. 3 years of decline, but 4 years now of teams knowing what your offensive scheme is. Why do you think safeties break in on Rashee Rice so quick? Why do you think he was getting drilled at the end of the year? Because defenses knew where the ball was going. Probably better than Patrick and Rashee Rice knew where the ball was going.
They knew it pretty early. The numbers back up what you're talking about, too, and obviously some of those numbers you brought up. The last 2 years, so 24 and 25, they have, the last 3 years. So 23, 24, 25, when we talk about this stretch in which you're getting at. They have played 58 games in those 3 years. 23, 24, 25, they played 58 games. It'll be 59 on Sunday. So 58 games. Out of the 58 games, do you want to guess how many times they've scored just 30 or more points? Out of 58.
Sorry, one more time since when?
So 58 games, 23, 24, 25. Okay. Out of 58 games, postseason included,
30-plus points?
How many times they've got to just 30?
Well, I think last year was 1. This year was 2. I'm thinking the 31 against the Raiders in Washington. I'll say 6.
I'll say 4.
It's actually 9. It's actually 9 times over those 3 years that they got to 30-plus points. One of those was in overtime against the Bucks. That touchdown. They had 24.
I forgot about that one.
They had 24 before the overtime in which they got the touchdown and won 30-24 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They scored 40 points one time. Do you remember what game it was that they scored?
Bears.
Taylor Swift. First game Taylor Swift was at. That's the beginning of the 23 season. They scored 40 points. Taylor Swift was there. It was against the Bears. That was the first game she attended. They're now engaged, and Kelsey might be playing his last game ever on Sunday. That's how long ago it was since they scored 40 points in a game. Now, in those 58 games, we said they scored 30 points 9 times. How many times have they scored fewer than 20? Fewer than 20.
Well,
Not 20 or more.
obviously Broncos game last year.
That doesn't. I'll say fewer than 20 with Mahomes. Let's do that.
with Patrick, okay.
Because there's 2 different ones. There's
Yeah.
fewer than 20 with, and then add in the games where Mahomes did not play. So how many games? They scored 30 points 9 times. How
Man,
many out of the
there's
58 that they score fewer than
Feels
20?
like a good amount. I'll say 8.
I was going to say something like 25. I don't know if I'm way off
No,
base
that's-
with that, but
I'm sorry.
You're both off to a degree. It's in the middle there.
15.
16 times. 20 times if you add in the non-Mahomes games. So you've got that Chargers game. You've got the Broncos game at the end of the season. You've got
Last couple with
the
Oladoke.
Titans and Broncos game here as well. So they have 20, including games where Mahomes did not start. In the last 58 games, they have scored 30 or more points 9 times. They've scored fewer than 20 points 16 times with Mahomes out there. Now, if we look at 2018 to 2022, that's 96 games, so it's another 38 games added in, so it's another 2 seasons worth, but 96 games. 58 games, they scored 39 times. 96 games, how many times did they score 30? From 2018, Mahomes starting, to 2022 when they were the number 1 offense in 2022. So
Yeah.
number 1 offense to number 1 offense. 2018 to 2022, how many times did they score 30 or more points?
Oh, they had a great streak. I'll say 35.
I'll say out of 90 or 90.
Out of 90,
games,
96.
I'll say 65.
54 times.
Oh my gosh.
They scored 30 or more points out of 96. They
Seems
scored
impossible.
They scored it 9 times out of 58 games. Now, how many times in that stretch did they score 40 or more points? 96 games. They scored 30 or more 54 times. How many times did they get to 40?
15.
I'll say 8.
17 times. They scored 40 or more points in 96 games. The last 58, they've done it once. Now, how many times did they score fewer than 20 in 96 games? Because, again, in the 58 games, they've scored fewer than 20 16 times.
This is where I think this is the more important one to me.
Fewer than 20 in those 96 games from 2018 to 2022. 96 games, how many times did they get fewer than 20?
4.
Oh, it's going to be a handful. I'll say 8.
You guys are right. It's 7.
Yeah.
So 96 games from Mahomes in 18 to 22.
I could think the Titans game,
They scored fewer than 20 points
Colts game.
7 times. 23, 24, 25, they've done it 16 times with Mahomes. There is no way you can look at that and go, oh, the scheme is fine.
Yes.
Because if you then throw in and go, well, dude, you had Tyreek and prime Travis. So you're saying it's the players, not the scheme.
Because 2022 is the complete
It was without Tyreek.
correct. That's the one. That's why I always go
Right.
to 22.
You didn't have Tyreek in 2022, but you still had a version of prime Travis Kelce, right? Okay. So if you're saying that stretch, 18 to 22, is, well, you had prime Tyreek and prime Travis. So it wasn't the scheme then. You're saying it was the players. So you're saying as the players eroded, the offense then eroded with them? And if that's your argument, then it's hard to give credit to, well, Andy Reid's scheme, he's an offensive mastermind, and look what he's done with these players. Well, as the offense has lost those high-level players, the offense has lost their dynamism along with it. So which was it? Is it Andy Reid's scheme is amazing? Because I've been told, at least by one person on Twitter, multiple times, that essentially Patrick Mahomes is a system quarterback. That the only reason the Chiefs have done all of this is because of Andy Reid's scheme. Anybody questioning Andy Reid's scheme is, I think he said, amateur hour. Because look at all of these things, that's because of Andy Reid's scheme. Not because of Mahomes or anything like that. Well, then why did Andy Reid scheme? Because it's not because of the players. It's not because of Mahomes and Kelsey and Tyreek. I was told it's because of the scheme. Then why the vast difference of them being a middle-of-the-pack offense for 3 years now when they were scoring at will in all of these? 17 times they got to 40 or more points. They've done it one time in the last 3.
So I have
last 3 years.
Not a pushback, but I think there is some nuance with this. They did win 2 out of 3 Super Bowls and went to 3 straight with this. Now, the reason why I say that is because the defense has been much improved. It's why I've pushed back on the 40 number, and to an extent even maybe the 30 number. Now, that's way too low. I think the under 20 number is the one that matters more than anything. Because with the defense being better, there's been longer possessions, and you don't need to score as much. I'm not saying that you're not trying to score, but you're just not going to blow teams out every single game and win by 17, 20-plus points. That's not how the NFL is built. You look at the Bengals, for example. Yeah, they put up a lot of points, but they have to because their defense is so bad. The Chiefs team currently is much more, well, I would say the last few years, balanced, if you will. Those early teams in 18, 19, 20, those were all offensive focused. Yeah. I mean, all.
Second half of 19, the defense came along.
Sure. 100%.
Defense got better second half of 19, and they did keep the 49ers at bay to allow the Chiefs to go on that 3-touchdown run at the end.
Agreed.
Being down only 10 points at that.
But I think there has to be some nuance in the overall number scheme of, well, you're just not going to score as many points because you're offensively, that's not the game plan anymore. You're not going to try and take those risks. You're just not going to do it. So to me, the under 20 number is the one that really stands out, and just the slog that it has been. And again, the explosive numbers. They were getting explosive plays by MVS and Justin Watson and you know, all these plethora of guys, and now it feels like just no one can do it even with more explosive players. And so that's why I do think scheme. I go back to, you look at San Fran, you look at the Colts with Phillip Rivers, what they've done. You look at the New England Patriots, what they've done with Kayshon Boutte and the old age of Stephon Diggs and Hunter Henry, and you're telling me that's not scheme? You're telling me that's player? These are the same players that were there before Vrabel. To me, scheme is the most important thing in the NFL. And if there's ever Ben Johnson with the Bears, you're telling me scheme doesn't matter there? A lot of the same players. Yeah, you have Luther Burden now. But what's the difference? A different offensive game plan.
Well, you're talking about scoring fewer than 20 points from 2018 to 22 was 1 out of every 14 games. They scored fewer than 20. And now it's 1 out of every 3.5.
It was that one dud a season where you're like, oh, man, the Chiefs lost to the Colts at home, and they didn't look, you know, it was just
the
a rough
Titans,
night.
they scored 3 points. They lost 27-3 to the Titans. Good God, what happened there? But, yeah, that Colts game was when Mahomes had the ankle injury, and it was the all Reds. Never wear those again.
Were those, by the way, I don't know if you looked it up, the under 20, was that with Patrick or not? Because he did miss a few games.
Yeah, those were just with Patrick.
Oh, okay.
Yep, those were with Patrick. And you know that Colts game where they scored 13 points in a random Thursday night game that was odd. But Mahomes had that ankle injury
and that insane throw to Byron Pringle, I think, for the touchdown.
Dude, yeah, that was even with the ankle injury. And then the ankle injury got worse because Fisher was out of the game, and was it Cam Irving?
Probably Cam
was
Irving,
at left tackle, and he got walked back and he stepped on Mahomes' ankle again. And then at that point, Mahomes was just sort of a Peyton Manning in the pocket. He couldn't do much because that ankle got re-injured. The ankle healed when he, dislocated his kneecap. And he couldn't play for a few weeks. So the ankle was fine at that point. Yay, ankle's good. Because you know what? I can make that ankle not hurt. How? I'm going to take a bat to your knee. Bet that knee hurts worse than the ankle, doesn't it? Yes, it does now. Why did you do that? So, yeah, they forgot all about the ankle when that knee did that. But the numbers back up what most people are talking about, in that the dynamism has left this team over the years. And part of that is, well, defenses are playing differently now. It's the Patrick Mahomes effect, where defenses are playing the two deep safeties. But where the issue comes in is that the Chiefs, the last 2 years, have seen the most light boxes, the highest percentage of light boxes in the last 2 years of defenses. Yet they have a bottom third rushing attack. Bottom third explosiveness, bottom third rush efficiency, bottom third of the league the last 2 years in running the football, against the most and the highest percentage of light boxes that they see. Whereas there's a team in the AFC East that's been in the playoffs, that keeps losing to the Chiefs in the playoffs, that they see a lot of stacked boxes, which for a quarterback that, quote, doesn't have any weapons that Bills fans talk about with Josh Allen. Well, he doesn't have the weapon. Look at the weapons Mahomes has. Look at the weapons Josh Allen has. Look what he does. It's dismissed what the defenses have to account for, with part of it being Josh Allen's running ability.
That's part of it too.
But James Cook and their commitment to running the football makes the defenses have to respect that, which then creates easier opportunities for lesser weapons there in Buffalo than compared to some others, certainly in Cincinnati. But it makes life easier for Josh Allen than what the Chiefs have made life for Patrick Mahomes. He's constantly going up against teams that are playing the pass, knowing they're going to pass. And when they run, it's just sort of a cursory, like, let's hand it off, here's 3 yards, even against a light box. So why would a defense ever come out of a light box when you know you're stopping the run even with that? Mahomes is constantly going up against teams that are playing the pass on every single down. And if they run, we'll stop them anyway. That makes life really hard, and it makes a real long look in the mirror needed in this offseason. So that was my number 2 storyline with Mahomes' injury, but all of it sort of encompassing with that. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back, wrap up this hour. Cynthia Freeland joins us at 11 o'clock. We will hear from the Kansas City Chiefs, Andy Reid, Chris Oladokun. We'll see who else is at the podium. Mick Schaefer joins us at 1 o'clock. We will react to the post-game react to the press conferences, and we will also give some more of the top stories from the 2025 year. More Zone coming up next.
New Year's Eve, and it's time to break out the El Bandito Yankee Tequila. It is an ultra-premium tequila made from 100% Blue River agave from the highlands of Jalisco, Mexico. There's no fake colorings or flavors, and they're verified additive-free Blanco, Reposado, and Añejo. They have won countless platinum and gold medals and are now listed as one of the world's top tequilas. I think their slogan is so apt, so smooth, it's criminal. It is incredible in a margarita, tequila sunrise, on the rocks, or neat. You don't need to, if you take a shot of El Bandito, you don't need the lime, you don't need the salt. It is just a ultra premium smooth experience. You can now pick it up at your local restaurant or bar. And make sure you also go to elbanditoyankee.com. But on the Kansas side, you can get your supplies at Justin's of Lenexa in Lenexa, or J&L Spirits and Wine in OP. Missouri side, Gomer's on 103rd or McAdoodle's in Lee Summit. And now you can break out the Bandito at the bar at Grinders, KC, and Leavenworth with Stretch. So get yourself a cheesesteak and a nice glass of El Bandito Yankee Tequila at Grinders today. El Bandito Yankee and elbanditoyankee.com.
We'll talk with Cynthia Freeland coming up at 11 o'clock. And in that conversation, actually brought up something that now I want to ask Cynthia Freeland about. I didn't write it down as something I wanted to bring up with her. But now I do want to ask her that, just in general, how much easier do the Bills make the life of Josh Allen compared to what the Chiefs do with Patrick Mahomes? Like, how much easier is Josh Allen's life as a quarterback when there are stacked boxes that he goes up against in passing the ball with so many different, with being more balanced, as opposed to all of the light boxes and Mahomes having to decipher so many different things out there? Just curious. It might just be some, none, or yeah, they're putting too much on his plate. And it's, here's the other thing too. I don't want it to be misinterpreted for us talking about it, because I think we're all in agreement that we're not saying less Patrick Mahomes.
We're also not saying McDermott over Andy Reid.
Right. No. We're not saying less Patrick Mahomes or higher McDermott, but it is make it easier on Patrick Mahomes.
Yes.
Because if you're more efficient in being able to run the football, it doesn't mean you have to run it more. Because, again, we brought up the numbers yesterday. Bijan Robinson, 41% of the entire total yards of the Falcons. And, by the way, the Falcons have more total yards than the Chiefs do this year. So it's not like 41% of a lesser number. No, they've got 300 more yards total this year than the Chiefs. And he's got 41% of them on 30 fewer carries, touches. 30 fewer touches than the Chiefs running backs combined. So you can make life easier on Mahomes. Not that you're going to get Bijan Robinson, but you can make life easier. Not, well, he should only be passing the ball like Kirk Cousins 15 to 20 times. No. But Josh Allen's an MVP and has a really good running game to back that up. Matt Stafford is going for an MVP this year, and they have a really good running game that they use with Kyron Williams and Blake Corum at times.
Drake May,
Travion, and Ramondre. Like a good running game that they have to go off of with Drake May, who also runs the ball a little bit too. So Cynthia Freeland coming up next.
She's done the research.
I measured the big boys' booties for like 2 years.
She's analyzed the data.
If you can keep that big booty down, like if you are a big boy, if you're very tall and you can keep your booty down low, then you are far more successful.
She's crunched the numbers, and the results are clear.
The backup booty isn't as good, as it turns out.
If she picks a dog, she'll have the math to back it up.
It's not like Travis Kelce is done. My dog is very excited about this, just so you know.
It's Cynthia Freeland of NFL Network. Now in the zone with Jason Anderson on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy heading up until 2 o'clock. The Chiefs, we'll hear from them later on this hour. It is Andy Reid and Chris Oladokun. It's now 3 years in a row the Chiefs have had their backup quarterback at the podium for the final week of the season. Blaine Gabbert and Carson Wentz, and now Oladokun. It's just a much worse reason this year as to why that is the case. Joining us now, Cynthia Freeland, NFL Network analytics expert here in the zone. Cynthia, how are you today?
Happy almost New Year. I'm doing very well, thank you. And yourself?
Yes, I am doing fine. Happy almost New Year to you. I think a lot of people around the area would like to get past 2025 and get on to 2026. Certainly from the football side of it, with the Chiefs and the local college football teams all vastly underperforming and disappointing in their own particular way. Let's just get to 2026 and put this thing behind the Chiefs. So, yeah, I am looking forward to tomorrow.
For sure.
Just to turn
everything starts anew.
100%.
I mean, it's, I will say there's probably more to be grateful for than not, even though the result isn't what it should have been, though. I mean, at least you've had so many great years. And, 2014 was that the last time that they were in the press. Like, that's good. Now you get to, like, see your family in January. It's okay.
Exactly, yes. My son is, how spoiled he is. He said the other day, now, I've told you the story that a few years ago, he was, 7 years old and asked who are they playing in the Super Bowl in October. That's the life he has lived in October. Who are the Chiefs going to play in the Super Bowl this year? I'm like, you son of a gun. You little
fair question.
I know, right?
Fair question.
So then fast forward 3 years later, he goes, Dad, it is kind of nice not to be stressed and everything for the playoff games for once this year. And I was like, you little punk, you are the most privileged NFL football fan ever. Like, come on, dude. You are, and you know what? It's a great perspective. And I've tried to gain that perspective with him and say, you know what? We can just sit back and watch the playoffs. And I'll try not to hate watch the playoffs. I'll just try to see what happens, although I will be a big fan of whoever the Broncos are playing and the Patriots are playing, and who the Chargers are playing. Who else? Who the Bills are playing. Essentially, I'll be rooting for the Jags. Let's be honest. A Jacksonville fan. I'll be yelling Duval over here through the playoffs.
Sure, why not? You can yell whatever you want.
Yes, absolutely. It is amazing,
you
though.
You have to do it right. It's Duval now, not Duval.
I know. I don't know that I could go that far.
Officially changed the cadence.
Yes, I don't know that I could go that far, Cynthia. I don't know that I could do that. I'm not going to be like all these other fan bases on Super Bowl night chanting Eagles with them, EAG. I'm not going to do that like they did for Duval. Just like, Duval, let's go. See if the Jags win. That's great. One of my best friends is a Jags fan. True Jags from day one. Day one been a Jags fan. So, it is really interesting to look back at this year, Cynthia, because we asked the question at the beginning of the year, or the beginning of the show, was this a good year, a bad year, or sort of even for the sports in Kansas City overall? And I'm like, if you went back to 2013, you would say, what a great year this was. Oh my God, the Royals finished above 500. They were in contention late to make the playoffs. The Chiefs went to they won a Lamar Hunt trophy. Mm-hmm. But then, Cynthia, the greatest 11-year run in Kansas City sports history happened before this year with 2 World Series appearances. The Royals won a World Series. 7 AFC championship games, 5 Super Bowls in 6 years, 3 Super Bowl wins. KU won a national championship. K-State went to 2 Elite Eights in basketball and won a Big 12 championship in basketball and football. Like Mizzou had double-digit or back-to-back double-digit win seasons in football for the 3rd time in their history. They played in an SEC championship game. Like all of those things the past 11 years makes this year awful. What a terrible year. The Royals almost made the playoffs and the Chiefs got killed in the Super Bowl. Ugh, gross.
Spoiled fans.
Totally. Absolutely. We were talking in the previous segment, Cynthia, and it sparked something with me that I wasn't going to ask you about, but now I'm really curious. We were talking about the light boxes that the Chiefs go up against constantly over the last couple of years and just how the scheme doesn't feel like it has evolved. And you and I have talked scheme before these last couple months about Andy Reid. But one of the things that we started talking about was how often the Bills face more stacked boxes and how fewer of the times they face the light boxes because the run game is that good. And I'm just curious from the larger picture. We've talked about what is on the plate for Patrick Mahomes. How much easier do the Bills make life for Josh Allen than maybe what the Chiefs make life for Patrick Mahomes with constantly going up against light boxes?
Well, I don't even know if it's necessarily only the light boxes. It's also or any type of box. I think it's the O-line. If the O-line were dependable, it kind of wouldn't matter if it was a light box or a heavy box.
Yeah.
And that's where I think it really, like, those two things go hand in glove, right? I mean, Christian McCaffrey, who I believe should be the MVP, even though he absolutely won't be because it's now turned into a quarterback award. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, if you're looking at what he's doing, he's 2 positions in one, but let's look at him in the run game. In the run game specifically, that O-line is really, really helping him out. They're a little underrated when it comes to that. We don't talk about that as much. Should he get stuffed in the backfield, it would not look the same way that it has looked this whole season. So I would argue that, to me, the Chiefs, the alpha and omega is the O-line for me, and the trenches in general this season. So, again, who cares about the boxes if you have a little bit of push?
And I think part of it, too, is maybe it's just all about the O-line. I think part of it, too, is about the running back, that the Chiefs face those light boxes, yet the last 2 years they face the most light boxes. In the last 2 years, they are bottom 3rd in running success rate and running explosiveness, whereas the Bills are so good running the football, yet they don't see as many light boxes, not nearly as many light boxes as the Chiefs, and yet they're still effective in running the football. Yep. And I just feel like it makes life. And I'm not trying to take anything away from Josh Allen. I like Josh Allen, and I root for Josh Allen outside of the Bills winning and things like that. But I think he is a really phenomenal. I think he's the second best quarterback in the NFL. So I'm not trying to take anything away from him. But I see the arguments of look at Josh Allen's weapons and Patrick Mahomes' weapons. Like Josh Allen's making do with that, and I don't know that enough is given to the running game that takes things off the plate of a Matt Stafford, of a Josh Allen, some of these, of Drake May, like the Lamar Jackson in Baltimore. Now, 2 of those and even Drake May are actually running the ball themselves, as opposed to Patrick Mahomes, who did it a lot more this year. But I do wonder how much it's overlooked, the lack of a run game in Kansas City, when we talk about the weapons for Patrick Mahomes. It's not included. It's just who are the wide receivers and tight ends that he's throwing to.
I would agree. Like, here's the thing. The running back, people talk about, like, analytics, people hating running backs. I would say that is not, like, that is an overly simplified view of the situation. The reality is that running backs need to fit the system that they're in. Now, again, Christian McCaffrey this year, to me, I get mad that he won't be the MVP, so I'm going to keep saying it until somebody listens to me. But he plays multiple positions, right? He's not lining up as a running back. But I would argue that you need a running back room that can be reliable. It doesn't have to look like Christian McCaffrey. It can look a lot more like, even I know Travis Etienne has been great for your Jags, but ultimately they've had Basil Tutin sub in there. When their O-line wasn't working, Travis Etienne did not look good. When the O-line concepts, the pulling guards, all the things that they needed to create the space, when they started working again, now Travis Etienne somehow looks really good. So I'm not suggesting that a running back doesn't matter, but I am suggesting that all of the pieces have to fit together for the running back to work, which is why there's a devaluation in price, not in value, but in price, because there aren't a lot of O-lines and schemes that fit the running backs that are available in the market, and they're more interchangeable. So when you have, it's not scarcity, but it's the opposite of scarcity, right? You have too many of the ones that are mid and very few of the ones that are very good, which is why you see a Saquon or a Christian McCaffrey get paid more, and they're being asked to do more, even though Saquon hasn't had the season that I think many expected.
Yeah, Cynthia Freeland is our guest, and it's really interesting when talking about the running backs because there is going to be a debate around here depending on what happens on Sunday, and I don't want to root for the Raiders, but it would be beneficial to the Chiefs to lose to the Raiders because they could, in theory, have the 8th pick in the draft. They would need some other games to go their way while losing to the Raiders. If they beat the Raiders, the best they could be, if they need a number of other things to go their way to even be 10th, they might be 12th. They might go from the 8th pick to the 12th pick by winning on Sunday.
Right.
That's the equivalent of a third rounder. Sam McDowell, who's a columnist here in town, was on the afternoon show and said, Brett Veach loves trading up. Well, if you lose to the Raiders, you just traded up. You have the opportunity to trade up on Sunday by losing to the Raiders. Not that the Chiefs will go out of their way to do that. But Jeremiah Love is going to be a debate around here of whether or not you go defensive line, or you go.
No.
I'm just saying this is what it's
so that this is not the debate.
This is what it's going to be, and I think this is what it comes down to is when you said Christian McCaffrey is 2 positions in one. If Jeremiah Love is close to Bijan Robinson, who had 70-plus catches this year, are you getting 2 positions in one that takes a lot off the plate of Patrick Mahomes as opposed to going and getting defensive end or defensive tackle? That's going to be a conversation over the next couple of months.
Absolutely not. Here's why. No, number one, see that guy Ashton Genty that you're going to be playing against? He almost has 1,000 scrimmage yards. Or almost has 1,000 rushing yards. That's great. Did it help their team at all? No. You know why? Look at their O-line. It's abysmal. So it's scarcity. There are fewer defensive ends and defensive tackles, and they cost more money in free agency. So go get the running back in free agency, and then bring, for less money, maybe even a day 2 guy, and then bring in the scarcer position. I know it's going to sound attractive to want to take the Jeremiah Love, but no, you have Patrick Mahomes. Don't do that to yourself. You don't need. It's like a surplus value at the running back position because you already have the best quarterback on the planet.
Is it, and again, this is a conversation we'll continue to get in, but it sparked in my mind when you're saying, go get the
good conversation.
Go get the scarcity position. Would it make more sense? So let's say they go and they get Breece Hall. So running backs out of the question, they go and get Breece Hall in free agency. Okay, great, they've got that taken care of. And now it's defensive end or whatever. If a Carnell Tate or Tyson, whoever, the best wide receiver is on the board, like they feel like a true number one, would that be more beneficial to the team overall with Mahomes if you've added a running back and now you might have the number 1 wide receiver in the draft with Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy, and then you still need to figure out some of the defense, or would it be more beneficial overall to the team to get a scarcity position like edge or defensive tackle that cost a lot more than even some lower end number 1 receivers?
So I'm going to answer your question with a question.
Okay.
Is that, I don't want to even bring this up, but is it possible, like, are we living in a world where 87's there or 87's not?
I don't think 87's there.
Okay, because then it changes the calculus, right? So I think adding to the pass-catching quotient would be important if you need to replace that, very important. However, you have to look at who's available in free agency because I don't know the Chiefs' cap. I don't have the full cap picture figured out yet for the Chiefs. We can only, as outsiders, get what we get. But, I'm thinking, what, are we paying a corner? What are we doing with that? Because those are some major decisions about people currently on the roster that shape the entire picture for the offseason.
Yeah, I'm with you, and there are so many different decisions to be made, and the Chiefs will have opportunities because they'll be restructuring contracts. Like right now, they're like $40 million over the cap for next year, but Mahomes' contract.
Yeah, but what does that even mean? Right?
Yes.
Like that's December 31st. Like by
Exactly.
January 6th, it could all be different.
Right,
So,
$20 million is coming off that when they released Jawan Taylor. They're going to restructure
Right,
Patrick Mahomes, which is going to take another $30 million off that. So that's $50 million. They're now $20 million under the cap. So that was easy. And they've got some other deals and moves that they can certainly make as well. Cynthia Freeland is our guest, NFL Network analytics expert. So, yeah, I think. We'll see what they end up doing if they can get somebody that can be a premier pass rusher. And I think there's also the possibility of moving on from Trent McDuffie and seeing if you can get a first rounder for him and maybe even getting a high second round for him and paying Jalen.
I don't want to do that.
I know.
I want him to stay.
I know. I love Trent McDuffie as
Stop
well.
making it so hard on yourself.
I know. I love Trent McDuffie as well, but you get to the point to like, okay, can you just keep paying everybody? Can you just keep paying all of these different players and McDuffie and Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith and Chris Jones and
But can you afford to like have one side of the ball where you keep teaching someone how to play corner? I mean, I don't know.
How much
I'm
do the
looking at
last
these
3
corners
weeks
coming out,
Yeah.
and I'm like, ooh.
Yeah,
I don't know how I
that makes
feel
a
about
difference.
it.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, here's where the transfer portal has ruined the ability to evaluate, and this is where you're going to really the rubber meets the road with evaluations. Defensive playbooks are paper thin. I don't know what they're doing. Same with O-lines. The entire college game now has gotten to be very, very thin because people keep moving around at these key positions because they want more visibility. They want to play whatever. The NIL is what it is. And that movement has created chaos, meaning simplified playbooks, meaning I don't know what the upside for a lot of these guys are, even more so than it was before.
Interesting. How much can you take into the equation the last few weeks without Trent McDuffie and what the Chiefs' cornerback and secondary has looked with Noel Williams and Christian Fulton this last game, but Noel Williams, Christian Fulton, Jalen Watson the game before, that they've seemed to have been able to hold their own without Trent McDuffie. Does that change the calculus, or you don't want to take 3 games and then extrapolate that as to what it would look like next year? Maybe trading Trent McDuffie allows you to get a stud defensive end. Would it be better like to trade McDuffie and now you get an extra first rounder, which allows you to get a stud defensive end, and then draft maybe Kenyon Sadiq, wherever you might get that first rounder? Does that make more sense than paying Trent McDuffie and drafting a defensive end?
Well, look, that's where you're paying the big bucks to Brett Veach, because ultimately you have to, let's use a numerical scale, right? Let's say we evaluate Trent McDuffie, right? And so whenever you get 8 out of 10, I'm just using a hypothetical scale, you'd need to get something that's a 9 or better for that to be worthwhile. And you'd have to weigh it against what you're giving up. So that is where the really smart minds have to go into overdrive to figure this out. My whole fear or worry or concern or my strategy for this particular draft class is to overvalue, pass rushers come in, it's easier for them. They don't have a lot of advanced concepts. They don't need to figure out how Steve Spagnuolo, rush football. It's a little less complicated. I'm not saying what they do isn't complicated, but I'm saying that the timeline for that position to integrate into the NFL is not as long as corners. So you need to evaluate that based on the available substitutes in the marketplace and where you truly have the evaluation, not just for Trent McDuffie, but for the other pieces, because it's your entire defensive back unit. So let's say you put, I'm pretending I'm Christian Fulton, let's pretend you say he's a 5. Okay, so now you have 13, 8 plus 5 with him. So let's just, I'm, again, oversimplifying it, but you need to figure out something better than 13 to forego that, given the price and the constraints and the other opportunities you have, right?
Yeah.
But then you have to weigh it. So I don't know. I'm overvaluing corners that are already good this year. If I were an agent right now, I would try to represent every top-notch corner. If I'm Pat Surtain's agent, I am calling, and I'm like, everyone named Peyton that works for the Broncos, pay this man more money because he deserves it.
Yeah.
Because the corner position, the scarcity there. Look at Diamador Lenore. He's so underrated for the Niners. He got paid a whole bunch of money. Everyone was like, what the heck is this all about? And you know what? He's earning every cent of that. You're going to watch him this week against Jackson Smith and Jigba, who he's called out as wanting to play. They only play nickel basically 92% of the time, so we'll get a chance to see how he fares against him.
Yeah, I don't want to move on from him at all. I like Trent McDuffie. I just think Tyreek Hill priced himself out of Kansas City by looking at the market and saying, this is what I think I'm worth. And I do wonder if Trent McDuffie says, look, I'm going to get what I'm worth. And the Chiefs go, we appreciate it. We just can't really make that work. Because everything about Trent McDuffie, I'd love for him to stay a Kansas City Chief. It's just.
But I would argue the Tyreek Hill trick, there's a benefit to switching around what type of receivers you have when you have the world's best quarterback. Patrick Mahomes doesn't play defense.
Yeah, true.
So you don't have the luxury of saying, well, okay, we got the super speedy guy, and this is just take the top off of defenses. This now you can replace it with maybe not quite as elite speed, but a different body type, and shift things around, and actually perhaps gain an advantage on other teams. I'm just making the argument for corner in this particular draft class because of the less substitutes and the complete uncertainty about forecasting corners going forward. Go watch college. I know you watch a ton of it, but go watch even the quote unquote best guys. Go watch SEC. I'm like, do they play man concepts?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, this is it's so fun, and I do think by February and March I'll be tired of having this conversation, because usually that's when I start it with the Chiefs is starting the conversation.
You are spoiled.
So this is fun for me right now, and I'm going to try to make sure it's going to be fun moving forward. But I also wonder, like from the standpoint of you're talking about, diversifying. So like Patrick Mahomes doesn't play defense. Tyreek Hill, you could trade him. You diversified. You got better on defense. They took advantage of the resources that they gained in that Tyreek Hill trade. They got it right by trading him because of the draft picks that they had. Let's give an example, an extreme example of you move on from Trent McDuffie and you're able to get the number 20 to 23 pick in the draft, something like that. And then you're sitting there with number 9 and number 22, and you're able to get, let's say, Kendrick Falk or David Bailey, and then at 22 you get a defensive tackle that also rushes the passer. Do they become a better team with a pass rushing 3 to go next to Chris Jones and throw in Omar Norman-Lott along with a high-level defensive end, or the high-level defensive end and McDuffie out at corner?
I mean, that is where the evaluation in the building becomes those trade-offs. I have a hard time even before the combine. Because here's the thing: the combine is great not because of the underwear Olympics, but because of the other stuff. Meaning, they get in rooms, they go through these interviews, and Andy Reid can specifically ask a guy, okay, what would you run against this concept? This play is this. What is the strategy of this? Why? And they can sort of see a little bit of that mental composition that matters so much, because we just have, I don't know, again, the college film is so wonky to me this year that you can see traits, right? But can you see smarts? I don't know, because you can't have a dumb player come for the Chiefs defense. I'm sorry, you cannot. Typically, every single year we see with the Steve Spagnuolo defense that September is a little bit uncharacteristic, and then they get better every single game, like basically starting October 1. So that wasn't necessarily the case this season, but you're not asking someone to run a college defense. You're asking someone to run one of the best defenses and historically most principled defenses, and it's not an easy task, so not everyone fits, right?
Cynthia Freeland is our guest, NFL Network analytics expert, and I look forward to having more of these conversations as the weeks go on, heading into the combine, and then on into the... And I
get to see them on the field, and that's where I have a huge advantage, because I get to see how they interact with the other dudes and how they interact after good and or bad performances. That it is almost as good of an indicator as anything I've ever seen if a guy is able to, you can see, if, they run a 40 they weren't expecting, how do they react? How do they talk to the other guys? Are they standing by themselves? Or do they get along well with others? You see guys crying on the field. I am starting to feel like their mom and want to give them a hug, but I don't because I'm not allowed to. But, it's like you see all of these traits and you see it and you're like, okay, toughness there. Toughness not there, and it has rarely has anyone ever surprised me in the wrong direction.
And that's 3 weeks from now, and also wide receiver for Mizzou, Kevin Coleman, just accepted that invite to the East West Shrine Bowl.
There we go.
Coming up later on in January on NFL Network, where you can watch that and hear and see Cynthia being a part of that as well. Cynthia Freeland is our guest. Cynthia, which would have been a bigger surprise to you at the beginning of the season if I gave you 3 teams that one of them earned the number 1 seed in the AFC, Denver, New England, or Jacksonville?
Wow. Probably Jacksonville. Not to say that, Denver was something easy, but at least they had made the playoffs last year. So,
Yeah.
Dropping a game here or there for the Chiefs is possible in that scenario. And Denver had a really good defense. I think Jacksonville, because it was such a cluster, right? They weren't even playing. They got Travis Hunter. We're like, well, is he going to be a wide receiver? We had so many question marks ahead of the season, and even though they started strong, they sort of tapered off and then righted the ship, which is harder to do.
Yeah, and
the Patriots had like the easiest schedule on the planet.
that's true.
So.
Yeah, that is true. And Jacksonville can still win the number 1 seed. They just need Denver and New England to both lose. And Denver can. I just don't expect New England to lose in their game. But it is also like last one for you, Cynthia. How quickly things change from the Chiefs going to 3 straight Super Bowls to being a 6-10, hopefully 6-11 team, maybe 7-10 team. Because just a couple of years ago, when the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, the year they won the Super Bowl against the 49ers, Sean Payton was beefing with Russell Wilson and benching him in Denver, and that whole thing was going on. Mike Vrabel was in the middle of being fired by the Titans, and Liam Cohen was the OC at Kentucky.
Firing ever.
Yeah,
that was a weird firing.
Crazy firing in Tennessee, and Liam Cohen was the offensive coordinator at Kentucky in the SEC. Right. And those are the 3 coaches that have a chance to be the number 1 seed in the AFC just 2 years later. How quickly life can change. Do you have any New Year's resolutions? Do you do that, Cynthia, or just live life every day like it's January 1st?
Well, listen, I feel like we should do our resolutions at the beginning of the year, like in September, which is typically when I do it. It also coincides with my birthday, so it's a little easier.
Nice.
But, I'm a big resolution person, like trying to figure out, how to get better every single year. But I don't do like a one big resolution. I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? What are my things to be 10% better? That's more my speed.
1% less bad is always my resolution. 1% less bad.
That's a good one.
Every single day. Cynthia Freeland, never bad, always great. NFL Network analytics expert. Cynthia, great stuff as always. Have a happy new year. Enjoy the football this week, and we will talk next week when we're looking at these playoff matchups for the NFL.
Wild card weekend is the best weekend of the year. I know Chiefs fans
I think divisional round.
Sitting on it, but it's true.
I think divisional round's the best weekend of the year. Because we've got 8 teams left, and we get games on Saturday and Sunday, and they're typically all great games. I've always felt like divisional round of the playoffs is like the best weekend of the NFL. My personal view.
I feel like I can make that argument too, but I really like the wild card because I like the opportunity for an upset of someone like, oh, we thought forever. You're like, oh no.
Yes, Cynthia, great stuff. Very much appreciate the time. Have a happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Talk to you next week.
Absolutely. There's Cynthia Freeland. She is the best. NFL Network analytics expert. Does a great job there on NFL Network and certainly with us every week. And coming up later on in January with the East-West Shrine Bowl, she'll have coverage all week there with the East-West Shrine Bowl. And as I said, Kevin Coleman accepting that invite to go. I haven't looked at any of the other local ones. I just saw that come up yesterday. That's why I was able to see that. I should go and look if there's any other the local players going to the Senior Bowl or the East-West Shrine Bowl. But that's on NFL Network, and she's there covering it, does sideline, and does all of those things, which helps us get an idea of some of the draft prospects that we never really paid much attention to anyway because the Chiefs were in the middle of the playoffs. It's like, yeah, the East-West Shrine Bowl, cool. Chiefs are playing in the Super Bowl. That's the better bowl to pay attention to. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back, continue rolling. More Zone next. What's your New Year's resolution? Mine was not to go and figure out what my testosterone level was. It was not that. But it ended up being that just because it happened to be at the, first couple of weeks of January, going on 2 years now, wondering what the testosterone level was for a decade. And finally saying, you know what, let me go ahead and do that. Let me schedule a consult with Heartland Men's Health and see what it is. And 15 minutes later, I get the result, and it's a little bit lower than what I even guessed it would be. I thought that there were some things that might have been happening with lower testosterone, with the symptoms I was having with low T, and it was a little bit worse than even I would have guessed, which is always kind of a fun game that you can go and guess what the level is, and then you actually find out what that specific number is. If you have lack of energy. If your energy level isn't the way that it used to be, maybe you don't have motivation sometimes. Maybe depression is set in. Production at work is lacking. Brain fog is part of it. Libido can be part of it. All of those things encompassing could be low testosterone. They are also working with the advancements in peptides to do a lot of different things with men's health. Simply schedule a consult. They'll do your lab work, have your results within 30 minutes. A licensed medical provider, they'll review your results with you, discuss your options, help you make the decision together with that medical team. Cost of the appointment, $99. That includes the medical consultee and that PSA test that we talk about a lot. And if you sign up for testosterone treatment the day of your appointment, you don't pay a dime. Visit is absolutely free. You could be back to having those energy levels and getting rid of brain fog and more motivation, which then results going to the gym, which then results burning fat and putting on muscle. All of that sort of working together. Heartland Men's Health, successfully treating men in the Kansas City area. 3 locations to serve you: Overland Park, Independence between Blue Springs and Lee Summit, and North Kansas City. Call them today, 844-447-6600. Tell them you heard about it right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB, 844-447-6600, or visit heartlandmenshealth.com. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy. We will hear from the Chiefs coming up in the next segment. Andy Reid, Chris Oladokun, Nick Bolton, and Creed Humphrey will be at the podium today. Thank you to Cynthia Freeland. We were talking with Curtis in the break there that Curtis came in and we were both sort of enamored with
sprinted in
the observation of Cynthia Freeland saying the transfer portal and all of the new players coming in and new players that are having to play right away, that the college defensive playbooks have been chopped to where they're much thinner than they used to. So can you rely on, let's say, a cornerback or other players that have to use sort of the smarts of understanding what they're supposed to be doing, as opposed to a Trent McDuffie having the bird in hand, having to pay that bird in your hand, or going and drafting a first-round corner. This is one of the best corners in the in college that really didn't have to do much and played a zone out here, but the measurables are off the charts, as opposed to a defensive end that's go get QB. You know, a little more difficult and intricate than that, because there's some twists and some stunts and things like that, but it's a lot of, here you go, you're one-on-one against this tackle, so go and do what you need to do. Now, run fits and setting the edge and things like that you need to learn, but you're also doing that in college, even with a dumbed-down, for lack of a better term, playbook, which I think, speaking of somebody who's talking today, Sterling, could also be why the Chiefs have said, we're sticking with Nick Bolton, because these guys coming out of college don't have the ability to navigate defenses the way that he did in college, because those defensive playbooks were much more intricate, and he's got an easier transition to be the green dot as opposed to less letting that green dot go and drafting somebody that hasn't had the experience of needing to have all of the information that isn't just fed to them by the coaches.
Well, Noah Williams would have fallen into the newer category.
Yeah, true.
And there was
That's a good point.
There was a lot of talk about him in training camp.
And then he had 2 blown assignments and he got benched.
Yeah, but that's to any rookie.
Yeah,
I think
I know,
that
it's
happens.
annoying.
So for Noah Williams, he had trouble in training camp, and that was a big talking point. And then he played, and then they realized, oh no, he's incredible, or at least very, very good as a rookie.
Was Noah Williams the one that Dave Merritt said, Nemo, just keep swimming, keep
Correct.
swimming, keep
That
swimming?
was him.
That was Noah
So,
Williams.
There's something to that, at least early on,
Yeah.
that happened, but we also see the results of Noah Williams, and he looks like a really good corner. I mean, he was a legit CB2 this year as a rookie.
I liked him. Yeah, I like the possibility of him moving forward. It also sort of sparks in me, we haven't seen Bassa play, and what were the things that they talked about when they drafted him? One of the smartest guys on defense in the interview room, that Spags was just enamored in talking with this guy about defense and just how safety to linebacker. His athleticism is obviously off the charts, but how smart he is in knowing where everybody's supposed to be on the field, all of that stuff. But even that hasn't translated to him getting an opportunity to play this year.
Yeah.
Without Leo Chanel playing. Still can't get on the field. Instead, it's Cooper McDonald, who, that's good. They found him as an undrafted free agent. They clearly like something in him, and he's playing, and you're getting opportunities.
Which I'm cool with. It's a young guy, so I'm fine.
But I think it's interesting that it's like Bassa, part of the reason they drafted him was obviously athleticism and immediate impact on special teams, but how smart he was as a linebacker. That just is like Trent McDuffie at the whiteboard, obvious first-round grade. The measurables may not be there, but this guy is technically as solid as we've ever seen and is incredibly brilliant and knows where every other player on the field is supposed to be. Linebacker, safeties, he knows the exact assignment of all of them. A little smaller, but you can't make up for what he brings to the table, and we've seen that. But Bassa can't get on the field with some of those same thoughts around how smart he is. I don't know. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll hear from Andy Reid, Chris Oladokun, Nick Bolton, and Creed Humphrey next. We'll head out to One Arrowhead Drive and hear from Andy Reid and Chris Oladokun and Nick Bolton and Creed Humphrey. Andy Reid's final press conference, looking forward to facing off against a well-coached team like the Raiders. It's too bad. The final one that you can play Andy Reid bingo. Are you going to do it?
We have them under there. We still have
you can do
30 of them. If you want to use them, pull them out.
You can do it. You should do it.
In our desk.
You should do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go higher. I'm going to do it.
I have no idea what you're referencing to the voice.
That was from Gilbert Grape.
I've literally never heard of that. I've heard of...
What's Eating Gilbert Grape?
I've seen the movie.
With Leo?
Young Leo.
No.
Leo. It's a wild movie.
Leo Chanel's in it?
Yes, Leo Chanel's in it. Yeah, that's why he's on IR. Because he's acting. He and Travis. He and Killer Trav are, really into Hollywood now.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay. We'll hear from the Kansas City Chiefs. It'll be Andy Reid, and it'll be Chris Oladokun, and it'll be Nick Bolton, and it'll be Creed Humphrey coming up next here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Creed is one of the few guys who I think you would say is the highest paid player in his position and is clearly worth it.
Yeah, and now he's asking Brett Veach, can you pay me high?
Well, I mean, he is, $5 million more than the next highest center, and he's somehow worth being paid drastically more than the next highest paid center. I mean, Creed Humphrey has been...
Yeah. I don't apologize for that, by the way. I'm not even going to say sorry.
No, you shouldn't.
Just my New Year's resolution is to not do that anymore.
No, I'm just... Impressive.
Andy Reid.
With his ankle, and then Xavier Worthy is sick, so those guys won't go. Everybody else will practice. Look for the challenge of playing the Raiders. It is the Raiders, and so we understand that, and it doesn't really matter what the records are. It's still those two teams playing each other, and I'm sure it'll be a good game to watch. So with that, time's yours.
How much of Sunday do you think is going to be a lot geared towards evaluating younger players, because it is the last game, and specifically a running back like Damian Pierce? Are you looking to get him some action this week?
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. He'll be in there. He'll practice, and he's been doing that gradually, working him in. So making sure that he's comfortable with what we're doing. And I mean, there's a chance that he would have a chance to get up there. But Herbie, I got to see that as we go here. Right? See how he does in the rest of the practices here.
Andy, how much of a reward is it for some of these guys that are practice squad players or just guys that have worked all year to finally actually play the game, given the circumstances though, but they aren't being able to play an NFL game? How much of a reward is it for
Yeah, I think for their careers, it's great to get stuff on tape, plays on tape, and then I think from an evaluation process for Brett and the coaches, I think it's a good time to look at them in a game, a real game. It's different than preseason. It's different than training camp and so on. Yeah.
Andy, because you guys are not in playoff contention, have you started to scheme player evaluation for this season already, or will that be something that you?
Yeah, that's something. Get through this game here, and then you do all that.
And is there any sort of strange feeling just knowing that you guys typically don't know when your last game is unless it's a Super Bowl? Is there any sort of strange feeling for you personally on that?
Yeah, I want to keep that a strange feeling. So So you don't like ending right now, obviously, but that's what it is. And then you gotta go back and fix things, make sure they're right.
And is there a chance that Jalen Moore returns to the starting lineup this week?
I'll tell you here as we go through the week, but he's going to be out there today and doing his thing.
Andy, how cognizant are coaches when it comes to bonuses and incentives and players' contracts coming down toward the end of the season?
Yeah. Don't worry about all that. Just go play, right?
We talked a little bit on the Zoom about Chris getting a full week this week. What have you seen from him these last couple of days? Comfort level and all that stuff. It's been a weird kind of ramp up for him.
Yeah, so first day back here. I mean, we did a little yesterday, but not much. We'll do more today. I think every day that he has an opportunity to do it, he's better at it. And, we went through the walkthrough, gave him a new load here to pick up, and he handled the verbal part of it.
And you've had a full year now with Richard. Just looking ahead, do you see him more as a receiver or as a running back? What do you see as long as?
I think both. I think a good off season of strength training and eating right and doing all those things that you need to do to play that position over an extended period of time, I think will benefit him.
Is there somebody you compare him to in the past that's done both like that?
Yeah, I'm sure there is. I mean, right off the top, I can't give it to you.
Along those same lines, though, Jesse here does bring up the past. In Philly, you did have guys who were highly versatile. Brian Westbrook, Sean McCoy is a young guy. How often do you find yourself asking your young running backs to watch how you utilize these versatile guys in your scheme?
Yeah. What we try to do is put them in that position. If we have the cut-ups on them, then we show it to them. Listen, he's been a wide receiver. He's different than the other guys, where he's actually played that position. So there's a few more things you can do with him. I don't bring up names. I don't want to insult any of those guys because they're all great players, and he's just starting off here. So.
Which we mentioned before, but with Pat's injury, the offseason quarterback is going to be rather important. I guess what has Chris showed you to maybe be in that mix and to lead that role?
Yeah, I think this game will be another audition for that. So I think that's good. He did a nice job last week, and the time he had to execute and jump in there the week before. So it's we'll just see where he continues to grow at.
Tom?
Coach, off the NFL side, I'm not sure if you had a chance to talk to Kyle Whittingham, your old teammate, is Utah forever. He's going to be the Michigan coach now. Have you talked to him about kind of that move, that challenge?
Yeah, I have. I think it's great for the university. I think it's a great move for him. I think that's a win-win both sides. I knew he wanted to still coach, and he's going to do phenomenal up there. Just got to switch colors. You got to get used to wearing that blue again.
All right.
Thanks, Coach. Yeah.
All right, there's Andy Reid, Trey Smith with the ankle. Xavier Worthy is sick. Those guys will not practice today. Well, there's a couple things I want to get into with what Andy Reid said there because, man, he said what we have been saying about what these games are, yet they're not actually doing that with some of these young players. So we will talk. I don't want to get into the conversation now and then have Oladokin get up there and then we change. But he did say it's another audition for Oladokin. It's one more game to audition with a full week of practice.
You have to look at these as opportunities. Opportunities that you'll probably never get again in the Patrick Mahomes era.
Mm-hmm.
Opportunities you hope you never get again in the Patrick era.
Yeah, let's hope that's the case. And then Rashard Smith, wide receiver, running back, he said both. He's got to have an off-season of strength training and eating right, putting on weight to play a full year in a position like that. Okay, is that something they want to invest in to where he does that? And then they'll say, okay, well, now we have a running back without actually saying, can he be a running back? By, handing him the ball.
Which they did 14 times against the Raiders and
against stacked boxes, and the one time they don't play against light boxes. Yeah. So, interesting. And then the scheme evaluation said that it starts after this game. So get through the Raiders, then they'll get back, and then they'll get into evaluating the scheme.
Which makes sense. You're not going to do it in the middle of the season or the end even and try and change everything. No, I get that. So,
but they do have an extra sort of month or so to figure out what teams are doing against them and what other teams are doing, because they've been in full game prep mode week in and week out, and other teams are watching the Chiefs in these games and going, we're trying to catch this team. How do we beat them? This is what they're doing in the playoffs. This is what they're doing in the regular season. Here are the new wrinkles they break out in the playoffs. I mean, they scored the most points last year the entire season in the AFC Championship game against the Bills. They got to 32 points. That was the most points they scored last year. It was 32. And that was in the AFC Championship game. So there are teams that are looking at it and saying, here's what they brought in this game. Here's the wrinkle with that. And we can prepare for them, where the Chiefs are then going right into the offseason, and you're bringing in, you're going into eval season, the combine, free agency, getting ready for the draft. And yes, coaches behind the scenes need to be doing some of those things, but you got a little bit of time before you get full on into the coaches being a part of the eval season with the draft. Because, East-West Shrine Bowl week of practice is not happening. Senior Bowl not happening. Those are going on the last, 3 or 4 years when the Chiefs have still been playing.
Yeah.
Those have been happening while they're still playing football.
And I think you'll be able to take a look around and see, hey, what does the Dolphins do with the run game? How can we take a look at what Josh McDaniels has done with the Patriots offense, which, again, McDaniels, hell of an OC.
Yeah.
Cannot be a head coach at all, clearly, but hell of an OC, nothing wrong with that.
Kingsbury, what's he doing with different things?
What are they doing over there? And again, I think that's where the Chiefs are at is
Sean McVay, Shanahan. There's a lot of things.
Look at different areas and say, hey, how can we implement some of these? And again, that's why I do trust Andy Reid. I think the people who are just constantly saying, well, we saw how it ended in Philly are being obtuse. They also didn't win 3 Super Bowls in Philly, nor was it just a one-year drop-off. It was a few season drop-off. So I think people are being willfully obtuse when they bring the Philly end. And also that's just, we know how it ended, so it's easy to make that comp. I think it's a lazy comp personally. Andy has changed. When 21-22 happened, who changed? Andy changed. So we've seen him change. We've seen him evolve. It's time now. This is going to force him to evolve. If we see the same offense next year, we can have the conversation at the end of next year. But I'm not there yet.
I think Andy Reid has had 3 different types of offenses while he's been the coach with the Chiefs, because he gets Alex Smith and then he goes and studies the pistol formation to start using with Alex Smith. And then Patrick Mahomes gets here and he's attacking downfield with Patrick Mahomes. Then they play 2 deep, and now he's doing more West Coast stuff there. Here's Chris Oladokin.
Do you think of it as an audition for next year, too?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you could think about it like that, but really my sole focus is on this week and, ending the season the right way. I think finishing off with a win will be really good for us, heading forward into the offseason and give us some confidence. And so, I'm really looking forward to playing the Raiders this week.
You have a perspective, what you can accomplish with a full week, aside from the obvious, just the one day of practice.
Yeah, I mean, definitely get on more of the same page with all the receivers and stuff like that, and really just dialing into the playbook. When you have that short week, you're sort of just cramming everything into 24 hours to get down. So to have a full week's going to be great. We have a good plan moving forward, so I'm excited about a full week.
When after you threw the touchdown pass to Richard, I didn't see he dropped the ball.
Yeah.
Is your first touchdown? Is his first touchdown? Where's the ball?
It's here, and we're trying to figure out how we're going to divvy that up still. But that was the first thing I saw too. When he scored, he dropped the ball, but I was so excited for him, and we just scored. I sort of left it too, but Kareem ended up coming off the field and getting the ball for us.
Yeah, you're supposed to get that ball.
Yeah, no, usually you do, but no, it was just raw emotions right there.
Chris, can you think back to your rookie season? You got drafted by the Steelers. Who called you, and talk about your arrival in Kansas City that year?
I was with the Steelers, and then I ended up getting cut, and the first person to call me was Matt Nagy. And I had already built a relationship a little bit with him, through the pre-draft process, and so I was familiar with him. Obviously loved Kansas City, and they seemed to like me. And when he called me, he was like, "Hey, what do you think about being a Chief?" And that was something that I sort of always envisioned, sort of backing up Pat and getting in here and learn from Coach Reid and Nags and Girardi. So it was sort of a surreal moment when I got over here.
How much was that Andy's ability to develop backup quarterbacks into something that may be able to start if not here somewhere else?
Yeah, it's invaluable. I mean, I think Coach Reid, his resume speaks for itself with QBs and the teams he's led and backup quarterbacks that have gone on to play well in other places as well. So that's always an opportunity that you don't want to miss if you have someone to learn from, like Coach Reid.
Chris, I think Andy called you a kid the other day. I'm sure it's just relative, but how much do you feel like you're pretty seasoned by now, even though these are your first few games, that the last few years sort of prepare you?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, if I look back and if I was thrust into this spot my rookie year, I'm like, would I be ready? I mean, I'd like to think I was, but definitely learning the last 4 years and just being in the system, watching, Pat, Coach Reed, Nags, and just even the guys like Trav that have been here for a long time, see how they go about their business has really helped me, on the field and off the field as well, just being a professional, learning good study habits and things like that.
Chris, what have you learned from the 2 games you played in that you can take into this game, just when you look at the tape back at those couple weeks?
I think the thing that I take the most from it is that I belong in the league. When you don't play for 4 years, your mind can sort of wander. Man, am I really supposed to be here? Should I be somewhere else? You're not really sure because you haven't done it. So to go out there and actually do it versus Denver is obviously one of the best defenses in the league, and then playing versus a really good D-line versus the Titans, and their defense was good. So it's when you go out there and do it versus guys that are starters and all pros and Pro Bowls, it gives you that confidence, like, I do belong here. So I think that's what I've taken the most from it, just sort of play by play, and, whatever happens, happens.
Even though these are 2 teams on the outside looking in, I guess what would it mean for you and the team to close out the year with a win and then get into the offseason on the right foot?
Yeah, it'd be huge. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a AFC West opponent. It's a rivalry game versus the Raiders, and so both teams are going to come out swinging. Obviously the narratives that the Raiders are going to lay down because they want the number 1 pick. That's not going to happen. The Raiders are going to come out there. They play really hard. Defense is really good. I think they have a really good DC, Patrick Graham. So none of us expect them to lay down, and we're both going to be, playing to win.
I know you try to prepare as a starter even when you're a backup, but has it felt different? Like just meeting rooms, things like that?
I mean, physically it definitely feels different. I'm actually out there breaking a sweat a little bit, so that's definitely different. But, I'm even in the meeting rooms, I've always prepared, like any play I can play, and so my preparation hasn't changed from that standpoint, but physically, yes, you're definitely taking all the reps, and you're in there. So,
as far as getting to go out there and play, Coach said he doesn't see incentives and things like that some of these guys have.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know that there's a couple incentives out there for some of these guys, and Travis is like 56 yards away from second place?
Yeah, you hear about it, and obviously I want that for those guys. I really do. If that's how the game is going, and those guys get those those records and incentives, that's something that I would love to be a part of for them. But also, we're just playing the game. I don't think we're going out of our way to scheme up any magic plays for those guys. Make sure they hit that. So I'm pulling for those guys. Definitely if they're open, I'm gonna try to get it for them. But at the end of the day, we're just gonna play by play, and whatever happens, happens.
Good. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, guys.
All right, there's Chris Oladokin. You're listening to KCFX HD4 Harrisonville, WHB Kansas City. We'll hear from Creed Humphrey and Nick Bolton coming up next out there at the practice facility.
I just love that he sounds semi-similar to Patrick.
Yeah, he does have that same. So he could probably do a really good Mahomes impression.
I bet it would be phenomenal.
Yeah, I bet if you just said, "Hey, let's head out to Patrick Mahomes," and he started talking, I bet it would take you a little bit.
It's the Jim Rome thing with me.
Yes,
where I sound a little bit like him.
Great,
but I could, if I want to, I can really just arugula, rack him.
Arugula, is that something he says often?
And that's just 3 syllables. Okay. Anything with 3 syllables you can do. Incredible.
That's true. Yes.
Arugula.
That's true. But yeah, Chris Oladokin, an opportunity to go out there, another game where he can audition for this game. Said sole focus is on this week. Finishing with a big win would be big for us. Give us confidence. I disagree. Win or loss will not have any impact on next year whatsoever in Week 18. I know why he's saying it. Yes, he want to win. He wants to go out there and win. It'd be big for him if he goes out there and leads this team to a victory and they play well offensively, showing, okay, I can be the backup quarterback. But for the Chiefs in the bigger picture, a win is not good. We were talking about with Cynthia Freeland. If the Chiefs win, I think the best they could be with a number of things going their way would be 10th. They'll more than likely, with the win, end up 11th or 12th, whereas a loss, a couple things go their way, they could be 8th. 12-8 is a third-round pick. For a guy in Brett Veach that loves trading up, a loss is a big trade-up. A loss, you just traded up if you're Brett Veach. You just went up from 12-8 almost to go and get your guy by losing against the Raiders. That's pretty big. You don't have to work a deal out. All you got to do is just lose. Just lose, baby. Let the Raiders just win, baby. But yes, for the players out there, they want to go out there. They want to win. They want to win on a end on a high note. Feel good going into the offseason. For the guys that aren't thinking about retirement or going to be on different teams.
Texans had this happen. Remember with was it Lovey? And they won that final. If they would have lost, they would have got the number 1 overall draft pick. They won, so they got number 2.
Yeah.
Panthers got Bryce Young. They got C.J. Stroud. So they got it right. And they traded up for.
Is it the Giants or Jets have done that a couple of times? That they've had those Pyrrhic victories.
But that's kind of the point of. Players aren't going to tank for the organization.
I know.
Coaches will not tank for the organization.
I know. You should though, but they're not going to. You
should. No, they should not because
yes.
They get no reward for it. The players don't get the reward. The coach is supposed to get fired.
No, I'm just talking about like if you're in this specific position as Andy Reid.
Sure. This is one of the few times when
a
it makes
coach
sense.
could throw the game.
Because you're not getting fired.
We're going to go into this game with a preseason game plan, meaning not one. There's no game plan for this.
Well, I say go with the same game plan the last 2 weeks, and you'll be fine.
Yeah. I say go with the Titans game plan. And also just take Jeffrey Simmons off the Titans and put him on the Raiders. That'd be great. Instead of taking Max Crosby off the field and putting him on the IR. That would suck. Here's Nick Bolton.
Game there against the Broncos, just how important was it for you, not only just to make sure the young guys do, but for yourself to know that even though you guys are out of it, to play as hard as you possibly can, how much you carried that over into this last game against the Raiders?
Yeah, I just want to end the year on a positive note. I've been saying it all the last couple of weeks, so energy and effort, things we can't control, especially on the defense side of the ball. And my group, man, I just want to make sure we show up when we do that. Guys are having fun, man. Like I said, the room changes year to year, everybody changes year to year, so just enjoying that time you have together. I didn't want to miss a moment. Just cherish the time we have.
With Jeffrey Bossa potentially getting more time, especially on Sunday, just what did you see from his limited snaps in the game against the Broncos, and just what's it been like to try to bring him along the way this season?
Yeah, you definitely understand. He's learning the scheme out there early in the game. He's out there giving me checks and calls and kind of things that throughout the week that we've kind of been working on. So definitely reassuring as a middle linebacker to have somebody to pay attention throughout the week, and also just kind of when the weeks really didn't matter that much. For him, he wasn't playing that much. So having somebody who's been locked in on the game plan week in and week out, kind of making sure he's on his P's and Q's, man. I'm super proud of him for that. Obviously, a little bit limited snaps, so hopefully we get him in there a little bit more and see what he can do a little bit.
Nick, can you walk us through your interception?
We're playing a little bit of man coverage. Quarterback got out the pocket. Charles did a good job of making him evade. Opposite of his, I guess we say, throwing hand across his body. Fulton made a heck of a play, burst into the ball, ended up getting, I think, his right hand on it, diving on it, and the ball got tipped up, and just playing ball after that, just catch the ball and get in bounds.
Dick, did you think to yourself, of all the interceptions I grabbed, that's finally the one I got?
Yeah, that's what I said. Might be one of the hardest ones I had all year in terms of attempting to catch it, but I caught it. But yeah, I've been trying to say all week after week, and that's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. So I'm happy I finally got one.
How about Fulton's game overall?
Yeah.
What did you think of the way he played?
Yeah, he came in, man. He played hard. I think he had a pretty good game, honestly. Had a couple PBUs, broke up a couple completions, broke up a touchdown pass that we needed. Him and B. Cook. So played great, man. Played with great energy, great effort, and obviously having a veteran guy and playing a lot of ball. I'm just going to go out there and just letting it loose and cutting loose, man. I think he put a great game for us.
Nick, you got your eyes on the whole defense, I guess. How do you feel that Jelani and Noel Williams can take the next step, and help you guys in 2026?
Yeah, obviously you got a whole offseason. You got to go through the whole offseason process, but just between for this game, man, just being locked in on the game plan, controlling what they can control, whether it be if they play 40 snaps, 4 snaps, whatever it is, make sure you just maximize your opportunities. In this profession, you are what your film says you are, so that's kind of just building every single day, week to week, and just give them a chance to bring something positive into next year.
Nick, how valuable is Brian Cook for you, given your guys' roles as like the communicators?
Yeah.
How much would you love to see him come back next season, given he's an upcoming free agent?
Yeah, like I said earlier, the room changes year to year, but having Brian Cook in the back end, especially since we lost Jay Reed, having that voice of somebody getting guys lined up, getting people in line, he's let a lot of them play week to week, and just coming in every single week and putting his best foot forward, and getting everybody lined up in the back end. It's, like we always say, we're all wrong, we're all right. He does a great job of just making sure we're all on the same page, getting guys lined up in the secondary, and we're just out there playing fast. So having him in the back end definitely gives me a lot of reassurance in terms of just turning my back around. If I do a signal or something, he's going to get it communicated across the board. So yeah, B. Cook's been great for us.
How much have you embraced those young players and the rookies coming to you for advice on what to do and what to get lined up, and how have you embraced that role as you transition into a veteran?
Yeah, it's been honestly pretty cool. I was making a joke with Drew last week that I looked in the huddle I'm looking around, and everybody else is like way younger than me. Really, I'm looking around, and everybody's just like looking at me with big eyes and stuff like that. But that's just part of the profession, man. It's pretty fun, man. See a lot of people out there chasing their dreams, man. Just super excited to be out there in that moment. Just cherishing the time, and just making sure they just have a great experience, make sure I can do my part, and make sure they have a good game or have a confident game and play a confident game. So, yeah, man, super cool.
This is obviously a position you're not used to being in with this team the entire time you've been here. And down to this end here, there's a bunch of guys on injured reserve. You know, some of the guys maybe don't want to play. You seem to fight to get back in there all the time. What is it about football and you, and no matter what the stakes are, that you want to be out there for all of it?
Yeah, I just kind of my story, just my life, my parents, my siblings, just like never taking an opportunity for granted. Everything changes. Life can change in a blink. You can have the ability to play football today and take away from you tomorrow. So I just kind of just take that to heart. I just kind of go out there and play every snap like it's my last, and I put them all on the line for the team, for the guys. Everybody's fighting for the one dream, and obviously we want to win the Super Bowl, but everybody's also trying to provide for their family. So as much as I can do that to help them out, and I'm also doing that for my family as well. So go out there and take advantage of every opportunity I have.
Nick, speaking of Super Bowl victories, your team is undefeated at Allegiant Stadium. What is it about this trip that you guys have been so successful?
Honestly, man, I mean, you heard it for a long time, the Raiders and the Chiefs rivalry. They make sure the fans here keep it fresh, coaching staff and fans also keep it fresh. So we just go out there with a mindset. We're going to go out there and win for our fans, our team. We just want to play good football. It doesn't really matter about location. Obviously, we've won a Super Bowl there and stuff like that, but we're going there with the same mindset regardless of the opponent or who we're playing, or location. Just want to go out there and execute the game plan and try to win. I want to know that week.
Back to Brian Cook for a second. I think you used to say that he was always loud, even if he didn't have it right.
Yeah.
But he was always calling it out. How much has that changed, and how much is his conviction now good about what he's seeing out there?
Yeah, we all got a lot of stuff going on in terms of sack scheme and stuff that we're trying to get lined up pre-snap. But yeah, he's for sure 15 times more right than he is wrong. In terms of getting guys lined up, and obviously I have my back turned a lot, and I don't see the whole formation. So there's times I'm giving him a signal. He's like, no, like this is a little bit better for us in this call. So obviously he's definitely been evolving year to year. This year's obviously taking big steps in terms of just making sure everybody's on the same page, and including me. There's some things that based off formation or stuff like that can be slightly different on how I see it versus how he sees it. And he sees it for a bigger picture than I do. So having an opportunity to kind of communicate with him throughout the week and stuff like that, you can kind of get a better feel for stuff like that. And yeah, he's doing a great job.
Do you think that's kind of the biggest growth in this game, that he really sees it in a completely...
Yeah, honestly, his biggest part, I think, is just trusting his eyes, trusting his instincts. This year, I think I've definitely seen that take off in terms of just trusting his eyes getting downhill. As a play last week, he's coming from the right hash on a run play and making a tackle line of scrimmage on Harvey and the running back. With those things like that, is just trusting his eyes, shooting his gun, trusting what he sees, and going out there playing fast. I think that's been the biggest step in his game.
Anybody else? Thanks, Nick.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, there you go. There's Nick Bolton getting ready for the final game of the season for him. Never going to miss an opportunity or a chance at an opportunity out there to play. And so he's going to go out there and play his hardest and do what he can. And we'll see what happens this weekend. And, you know, some of those younger guys coming along and even, you know, guys in the back end with some of those plays and being right more times than not with, you know, Brian Cook and those fellas.
And Fenner's, there's not really anyone who takes his role. There's not really anyone on the team
right,
that like Drew at least, and I like Drew Tranquil, it's not a knock on him, but like you can make the case that Bossa would play the Drew Tranquil role.
Mm-hmm.
They don't really have a guy behind Nick. Jack Cochran might be the guy, right? Like they don't have Nick Bolton playing is not taking snaps away from someone else.
Yeah, it's not. You're not missing out on Bossa with Nick Bolton.
Correct. So I think people. I want to make that clear so that way people might. Well, is he taking snaps away from Bossa? And I think no. The answer is those are two different LB spots.
Yeah, he's not. Mike Edwards is taking snaps away from other guys that there's no reason
from
for
Jaden Hicks, but I will also point out, man, Jaden Hicks says, I'd like to see him play the full game.
Yeah.
He's struggled this year.
That's the point of having him play the full game.
I've now understood why. During training camp, we all thought, okay, he's the guy. After the trade happened with Reed, it's okay because you trust Jaden Hicks. Man, Hicks has disappointed this year. Brian Cook has really impressed, though. So you thought one of those two guys was going to be great, and I think we all thought it was Hicks, and it was Brian Cook this year who really flashed.
And good for him in a contract year. for Brian Cook.
Yeah,
And
we'll
he's played
see.
that way. He's going to be one of the top safeties on the market.
It's like Juan Thornhill a little bit.
Yeah, it's not a strong safety market, but he'll be one of the top safeties out there to go and sign. And we'll see if the Chiefs are going to make the decision to re-sign Brian Cook and bring him back, or, go forward with Shamari Connor and Jaden Hicks, or go and sign a different guy, maybe for a little bit less. They've got to make that decision, along with Trent McDuffie. They've got the fifth-year option on Trent McDuffie already. I'm not sure that Trent McDuffie will play on the fifth-year option. So they're going to have to make that decision to trade Trent McDuffie or sign him in that contract extension this offseason. So that's a decision that has to be made. And, Rashee Rice, you got to make a decision on that going into a final year of his contract. Are you going to trade him? You're going to sign him? You're going to play one more year with him? And then you go into free agency after that, after year 4 with Rashee Rice? So, it's crazy to think he's played 3 years because it hasn't felt like he's played a full season. Because rookie year, it took him a little bit to ramp up before, he looked like he did in that Super Bowl against the 49ers or in the playoff run. Year 2, he, tears his ACL in week 4. Year 3, he's got the suspension, and it's been sort of this up and down season for him. So, if you're going to sign him to a deal, Rashee Rice this offseason, it's going to have to be team friendly.
Yeah. I looked up Brian Cook on Spot Track.
Yeah.
They're just AAV, their market value. Shocked. His
10?
AAV is 14.4 mil.
That's more than Justin Reed's.
4-year, $58 million. They have him with comp players as Javon Holland. That was 3 for 45. Jesse Bates, 4 for 64. Kyle Duggar, 4 for 58.
Interesting.
That was more than I thought. But again, you're right. It's not a great free agent class. It's him, Kyle Duggar, who's going to be 30, Jalen Thompson.
I would like Quentin Lake.
Andre Sisco.
Quentin Lake from the Rams is the guy that I would like for them to look at. That's assuming he doesn't re-sign with the Rams. He's been injured. He had the elbow injury. They're hoping to get him back by the playoffs. He's missed time. It's a big reason why the Rams have struggled at times on defense, is because he has missed time. He's one of the best slot corner safeties out there. He can play different positions. He can play in the box. He can play the slot and take Shamari Connor out of that, and he's been a captain there for 3 years.
His AAV is 11.3.
Yeah, so you would save money based on that with Quentin Lake to Brian Cook, and you can also get Shamari Connor out of that role. And, if you don't re-sign Trent McDuffie, then, you'd like to have somebody play the slot not named Shamari Connor. Maybe you could move Christian Roland Wallace to more of a different type of safety role. You can just move some things around. You got some guys on the outside with Noel Williams. If you sign Jalen Watson, maybe keep Christian Fulton there as your third cornerback. And if that's the guy you sign, again, because also he's been the captain of that defense for 3 years. It's kind of like the Tyrann Mathieu, Justin Reed role. They didn't have that this year. How much have they missed that guy, right? Well, how much have they missed Justin Reed and his leadership back there? How much did they miss Tyrann Mathieu's leadership? Not much, because Justin Reed came right in. And I can't imagine the Rams letting Quentin Lake go. But they also can't pay everybody either. Here's Creed Humphrey.
The best part of watching guys like Essa and Chu get real opportunities, and then how do you sort of walk them through a game when so many of these experiences are new and fresh?
Yeah, no, it's been awesome to see them grow over the past couple of weeks. Being able to get some real valuable reps throughout these past couple of weeks has been awesome, and it's been against, great edge rushers too. So seeing them progress and seeing them improve each week, it's been awesome to see. I couldn't be more proud of them.
Andy Reid said earlier that when he was asked about this feels strange being the last game, he's like, you want to keep it strange. I'm sure that's kind of the mentality that you guys have, but is it kind of a weird feeling that, is this the last game of the season?
Yeah, definitely. It is weird. I mean, in my 5 years now, every single other year we've been at least to the AFC Championship, so it definitely feels different. But for us, it's about focusing on this week, going out there and playing our best ball of the year, and finishing the season the right way.
What drives you to feel like your sort of integrity of play is what it should be, even though there's nothing at stake the same way it's been? How do you do that?
Yeah, well, it's my job to go out there and play my best ball every single week. So for me, it's a no-brainer. I'm going to go out there and give it my best every single week. That's what I'm paid to do, and so yeah, for me, it's an easy decision to go out there and play. If you're on the field, you should be playing to win. So yeah.
Does it come with any extra challenge when it's like this? Like, I got to reach back?
Yeah, I don't really think so. For me, it's just focusing on being in the present, making sure you're doing the right things, in the present. Don't focus on the future, don't focus on the past. Just focus on what you're doing and the task at hand right now.
Coach told us on Monday on the Zoom that Trey's probably his ankle. Trey wants to play, maybe not going to let him play this week. What have you seen from him this year, battling through all the things and wanting to go out there and play, even though maybe wasn't the smartest thing to do on Christmas?
Yeah, he's one of the toughest guys I've met. He battles through injuries. He does that, and he wants to show up and be a positive impact on the team. So I couldn't be more proud of Trey and how he's came out this year, has handled the different injuries over the season, and continued fighting on.
What have you felt from Chris Oladokin as he's kind of gotten through, thrown in the game, short week, now it's like a real week of practice, and what's he been like?
Yeah, no, he's been awesome. Chris is he's a great player and a great teammate. So seeing him get this opportunity has been awesome, and he's made some great plays. He's done a great job coming in every day, being a good leader for this team. Focusing on making sure he's ready for Sunday or Thursday last week, but. Just making sure he's ready to roll. He's been awesome with it, and he's not someone that's taking it for granted. He's coming in, putting his best foot forward every day.
Entering the season, I think a lot of the chatter online was the question of can Kingsley do this? What has it meant to see him really take that challenge and prove he could?
Yeah, he's been awesome this year, and seeing him just improve at a new position he's never played, improve each week throughout the season. He's been awesome, and it's been a blast playing with him this season. Getting to know him better, playing right by him, things like that. Great teammate, great person, great football player. So it's been awesome to see him improve each week.
Creed, how important is your personal starting streak, and do you even remember the last time you missed a start going back to college?
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I missed a start, to be honest. But no, it's not something I think about too much. For me, it's just about focusing on playing this game. So I don't even really know what number I'm at or anything. So for me, it's just about going out there and being ready to play every week.
Creed, this is 5 years out. What's the best part of Travis as a teammate that maybe we don't see on game days?
Yeah, I mean, aside from being, the elite talent that he is on the field, he's also just a great human being. He's a guy that you can lean on. He's someone that you can, if you're having trouble with stuff, he can help. He can help you fix things. He's someone that's easy to talk to, someone that makes you feel, comfortable as soon as you walk in the building. So he's awesome to be around. He's one of the guys that initially set the culture here when Coach Reed came in. He's carried that torch for the past how many years he's been here, whatever it is, 20 years. But but no, he's been awesome to have in the building. Awesome to have as a teammate, and it's been great.
Is there an example where, like you said, you fix something in your game, or maybe another teammate, something that you maybe that you'll always sort of remember?
Yeah, just my first start. He's someone that came up to me, talked about going out there and playing confidently. Saying you're good enough to do it. Go out there, play your ball. We know you're good enough to do it. Be confident in it. Have fun with it. He's one of those guys that he doesn't let the moment ever get too tense. He's someone that kind of just stays steady, and it's awesome to have as a leader someone that does that.
Kind of playing off of all of that, when you saw him right out there at Arrowhead, when the offensive player was getting announced, did you kind of sense that when you guys were running out there that like, oh man, he took a little time to realize that?
Yeah, I wasn't paying too much attention. But no, I mean, he has so many, unforgettable memories in this stadium and then on this team. It's been awesome to see him since I was, in high school watching him play. He's had so many memories. So just seeing him make plays still, doing all these things, it's been awesome to see. And hopefully he's back next year. So we'll see. But yeah, no, just seeing what he's done, it's been awesome.
It's been, I'm sure, very odd that Patrick's been rehabbing and all that stuff. Has he tried to poke his head in the meeting room? Has he been around? Has he communication about
Yeah, definitely. He's been around. He's still, helping out, leading guys. So he's been awesome to have, even through injury, when he's not out there, in every meeting, in the practices, all those things. He's still in the building, being able to talk to guys, and it's been great. So he's been awesome to have around.
Anybody else? Last one.
You guys have never lost at Allegiant Stadium. Can you put your finger on why you're so successful there in Vegas?
Yeah, no, I can't think of any specific reason. For us, it's just about making sure we're in the right mindset. It's a rivalry game. It's a good team. So for us, it's making sure we're putting our best foot forward every time we go there.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Creed.
Thank you.
All right, there's Creed Humphrey. We'll take a timeout, come back, continue rolling. We'll talk a little bit about what we heard from the players. Mainly one thing I heard from Andy Reid that we'll get into, and we'll also continue talking about our stories of 2025, the top stories that we've come up with each individually of 2025. We'll do that as the show progresses. We'll hear from Mick Schaefer 1 o'clock. We'll have some fun with some Rotten Tomatoes, the final show of the 2025 season. More Zone, talking about what I heard from Andy Reid that really stood out, coming up next. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy. Final show of 2025, heading into New Year's Eve tonight. We've got the Cotton Bowl for you, Miami and Ohio State. First game of the quarterfinals in the college football playoff. Also the Citrus Bowl later this afternoon, Michigan and Texas right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. That is around 2:30 or so. Curtis is putting in yeoman's work today. The 24-minute show coming up at 2 o'clock. They're gonna fit 4 hours into 24 minutes.
What is Twista doing the show?
That's exactly right, yes.
Busta
100%.
Rhymes doing this?
Busta, it is Twista.
Busta Lebo.
That's right. Mystical, Busta, and Twista.
Tech
all
Nine doing
combined. Yes. That's coming up at 2 o'clock for your listening pleasure. What? Hey, zip.
I'm sick, so I don't think you can do this quick. Patriots named attacker Christian Barmore is facing a misdemeanor charge of assault and battery on a household family member according to court documents. Just try and go as fast as you can.
It's
really hard, sick to do that. Yeah.
That took up more time than actually telling the story. So Andy Reid said something that stood out to me, that it's like, oh, hey, this is what it means to them, but it's not actually what we're going to do. He said, he was asked about practice squad players getting opportunities, elevated and playing. And he said, it's a big deal for them because it's a regular game. This is different than preseason games and even training camp because it's a regular week that you go through and you play in a regular season game. It's a bigger deal. It's different. Isn't that sort of the point that we've been bringing up? Is that evaluating players in preseason and training camp is one thing, but Andy Reid himself is saying there is a greater evaluation and a greater feel for what the player does because it's a regular season game and it's different than the preseason and training camp when those guys are going out there and playing. So he is saying that when there is nothing on the line for this team to play for, there is nothing they gain by winning except losing by winning, you have the perfect opportunity to go and play a bunch of young players, to get a real evaluation what it is in a regular game, giving them that week of prep, playing in a game, and it's different than the preseason and training camp. I just love hearing him say that. We all know it's true, but he was saying it about practice squad players getting an opportunity to play. Well, it's different. Yeah, it is different. It's a higher level of play that you have to reach rather than the preseason or training camp, which means you get a better feel for what they can actually do out there on the field, or heading into the offseason, what they can't do. And here's what you need to work on, because we saw it firsthand the last couple of weeks, what you were missing. You fix this, work on this, and you're going to be in the rotation. You're going to be a big part of the mix on this defense, on this offense, on special teams, whatever. But if you don't, this is going to continue to be something that is no longer potential fix to it is just a deficiency in your game.
Yeah, again, this is what I think we've all gone back to. It's just, it's like he realizes it, yet he doesn't
knows it.
and hasn't done it.
Yeah.
I mean, we've said this is not this is an opportunity. You should think of this as an opportunity, and the Chiefs, for the most part, squandered 2 opportunities to play. They played some. Like, they're playing Zach Pickens. I'm not saying everything's been. They're playing Kevin Knowles and Cooper McDonald. I'm not arguing that. But
we want to see more
Royals
and Bossa and Brashard Smith.
It's the main 3.
Yeah. Brashard Smith was like, oh, this guy's a playmaker in the 7th round. They got a guy that could be McKinnon type. Jalen Royals was supposed to be gone in the 2nd or 3rd round. How'd you get him in the 4th? Okay, well, he's still not playing with Tyquan Thornton and Rashee Rice on the IR. And Jeffrey Bossa, wow, he's in the 5th round. He shouldn't be there in the 5th round either. Like, you got this guy that is so smart and is fast and was a safety that turned out to be a linebacker, that moved a linebacker, and he's got the smarts and athleticism. This guy might play a decent role this year on defense, besides just being a special team stud. Like, he might develop into a package here or there that you put them on the field for certain things. A better Willie Gay. No, we haven't seen him out there. Saw him 4 plays in the game against the Broncos. 4 plays out there.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Even if you say that they don't, well, we can't trust them to know where they're at. Does it really matter at this point?
Yeah.
You got to trial by fire.
Yeah.
Again, the only thing I keep coming back to is, unless they literally just think that these guys aren't part of the future plan. Unless they're basically saying, hey, Richard's not a running back. We think Jalen Royals can't catch the ball, and we think Jeffrey Boss is a special teamer only.
Yeah.
That is what it's alluding to at this point.
Yep. Let's take a timeout. We'll come back. I want to get into the bigger stories of the year. We'll talk with Mick Schaefer coming up at 1 o'clock. So we'll take a timeout. I did my second biggest story of the year earlier in the show. We'll get into Sterling and Michael's second biggest story, and then we'll get into our top stories as well as we continue rolling on this Wednesday edition of The Zone at Sports Radio 810 WHB. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. I'll be heading to the Super Bowl this year. Unfortunately, the Chiefs will not be accompanying me. That's in San Francisco, Santa Clara, whatever. What's next year in L.A. or Atlanta?
I think Atlanta next year, then L.A.
And then L.A. And then Kansas City after that. Is it already in Kansas City? Do they already get one? If they just put a dome. I'm not sure, but so Atlanta and then L.A. So hopefully when we go to Hotlanta, the Chiefs will be following us there, but I'll be heading to San Francisco. And we were talking about different storylines, and Michael was telling one of his storylines that he's going to use for this year. And was like, yeah, that was when I was driving down to New Orleans. And I'm like, oh, you went to the game? And he's like, no, I just went and covered it that week. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And he goes, it's where I met you.
Yeah.
I said, oh, that's right. I remember us doing the media night was crazy. Dude, that week is always a blur. You know that. When you go to the Super Bowl, you're there. You were there. It's always a blur.
It's a week long of no sleep.
Dude, that media night
interviews
was just a train wreck.
And we had the question that got asked to Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes about the officiating.
Yeah.
Was that the one in the, I can't remember if that was Vegas or this one, where you're in like the parking lot of...
no, that was Vegas.
That was wild. That was weird. Which was New Orleans?
New Orleans was the one in the convention. No, it was at the Dome.
It was the Dome, yeah.
Or well, hold on. What? No, the Dome was the parking lot.
That was the parking lot. Yeah,
New Orleans, that was the parking lot. Yeah,
yeah, it was because that was a very weird setup.
Yeah,
and how you got in and
you went through the garage.
And like that's where the dinner was at. It was a weird setup in New Orleans. That's what it was. Yeah.
And oh my God, that thing was sort of a train wreck the way that they had that all planned out. Whatever.
It was fun.
That week sucked.
Yeah, but that's where I met Michael.
The week was great. I had a blast.
The week was fun.
I had a great time.
Sunday sucked. Sunday late afternoon, evening sucked.
I was gone on
Monday.
Saturday.
Yeah.
I flew back Saturday.
Yeah.
I drove back on Friday.
I had 7 people on my plane.
I came back Friday.
7. Full ass big ass plane. 7 people on it. They were doing like a bus route.
I came back Friday and it was ghosts. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can just take up all 4 of these. I can just switch.
We had 7 people on a Boeing 737.
They're like, if you guys can space out, please. And I'm like, really? My 180 is going to make a difference if I'm in the 15th row or the 20th row? Like, I don't know that that's really going to be that big of a deal, but I will comply.
They called your ass fat. They're like, hey, sir, we're going to actually need you to lay down.
I wasn't going to be the person that got videoed, going crazy. Like, I'm not going to move. And there's all these rows that are open. I'm not moving from this seat right here. This is my seat. I chose this one, okay? I picked it out.
You somehow still took a middle seat.
Which is weird. Well, yeah, I laid down. My ass was in the middle seat. My head was just on by the window, and my legs were sticking out in the aisle. Kept getting hit while the cart went by. It was bad. All right, let's get into Michael Darcy's number 2 story. I gave my number 2. Sterling's number 2 sort of went along with my number 2. So now Michael will take. He'll go number 2. Michael, your second story of the 2025 season, second biggest.
We touched on it a little bit in the first hour, but I think the 2025 AFC Championship game, the Chiefs started off this year with a bang. They beat the Buffalo Bills. They put up 32 points in that AFC Championship game. And I think why it's big news is because that was the highlight of this year for the Chiefs as an organization. But just looking at how well Patrick Mahomes played in that game, I mean, if you just look at the box score, he was 18 of 26 for 245 and 1 touchdown. Doesn't look all that impressive, but he had 2 rushing touchdowns. And, when you look at different games throughout his career, there's certain moments where he has over my dead body games. That felt like one of them, and it took every single yard, whether it was rushing or throwing, for the Chiefs to win this game.
Yeah. The 2025 year didn't start off great with the loss to the Broncos when they rested everybody, and they lost 38-0. But then they beat the Texans, and then that great AFC Championship game to go to their 3rd straight Super Bowl to give them an opportunity to win 3 straight. And then after January, it really wasn't all that great of a year. January was
what even happened in February?
Oh,
just
man.
Cut it there.
Yeah, just stop the presses at that point.
It's why the frustration of Xavier Worthy regressing so maddening as you look at that Bills game, 6 of 7, 85 yards and a touchdown. Obviously, we know what happened at the end of the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
but it has felt like Patrick and Worthy's connection was starting to blossom, and then this year it just was not there. You're right. I think Darcy has such a good point of, we always talk about that Patrick game against the Bills in this AFC Championship. You look at the box score, I'm sure people outside of KC are like,
yeah,
seriously?
I just don't care about
You think that's one of his best games? And if you watch that game, you're right. It was just a guy in complete control, pulling all the strings and understanding the game plan. I remember Juju had a couple of those big 31-yarder and a 29-yard catch in that one zone. But yeah, I just Patrick was the man pulling the strings and was nearly perfection in that game, even if the box score looks fairly pedestrian for even a Mahomesian line.
But he also had, 43 rushing yards.
Yeah.
And the 2 rushing touchdowns. He lost the fumble, but he's got, they were also, 60% on 3rd and 4th down in that game.
No, you look at Josh Allen and Patrick's lines, the box score.
Yeah.
Just the box score and go, oh, those are fairly similar.
Yeah.
But again, to me, it was Patrick was always one step ahead in this particular game.
The Bills were 9 of 20 on 3rd and 4th down. And the Chiefs were 6 out of 10. They were 60% in their 3rd and 4th down conversions.
They lost the turnover battle and still won.
Yeah, they were down 1-0 because the Bills fumbled 4 times and never lost one of them.
Yeah.
Oh, the Chiefs were lucky to win that game. Oh, really? You mean the 5 fumbles and the Bills recovered every single one of them? The ball hit the ground in a fumble 5 times in that AFC Championship game, and the Bills recovered every single one of them. Who was lucky to win that game? I mean, just, it's absurd, sort of the commentary that goes around some of those things in that particular game. Also, the 13-second game that people look at and say the Chiefs were lucky to win the 13-second game. Well, I can make a case that the Bills were lucky to be leading with 13 seconds left, considering that the Chiefs led for most of that game. They either led or tied for like 48 out of 60 minutes in that game, and they led for more than half of the game. The Bills were playing from behind that entire game with the Chiefs, and then the last 3 minutes got crazy. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So I can make a strong case that the Bills were fortunate to be in the position to take the lead with 13 seconds left in that game, especially when the Chiefs lose a couple of their players early on, like, Tyrann Mathieu on the first, drive of the game. They lose Tyrann Mathieu, and then they start destroying the middle of the field. Like some of those games against the Bills where really it's a common theme, except for the first game against the Bills where the Chiefs won the AFC Championship game to go back to the Super Bowl. The common theme in the games against the Bills are 13 seconds, Chiefs were lucky to win. In Buffalo, Tyler Bass misses a field goal.
Wide right. Yeah.
Somehow that would have won the game for the Bills.
Yeah, that was weird.
So they're a missed field goal away from beating the Chiefs in the divisional round, and then this game was only about one spot of the football on 4th down, even though they recovered all 5 fumbles in the game. Like, those 3 games are viewed as the Chiefs were so fortunate to win them, except all 3 of them the Chiefs were playing from in front. The Bills were chasing in all 3 of those games. Even last year, while recovering 5 fumbles, they had 2 touchdowns on 4th down. They had 2 4th down touchdowns. One, James Cook, an amazing effort at the goal line. So they had 2 4th down touchdowns. That's 14 points difference on 2 plays, and recovered all 5 fumbles. And yet the Chiefs were the fortunate ones to win that game.
When you look back, this was the game that I think gave us all confidence heading into the Super Bowl of, they've struggled a lot of this year, but you mentioned the 5 fumbles. The Bills were recovering every single one, and you thought, all right, this might just be a team of destiny of this is their best game of the year. Patrick's maybe best game of the season. Yeah, the defense left a little bit to be desired, but it's Josh Allen, not Jalen Hurts. The emergence of Xavier Worthy. This felt like a game where everything was starting to click and come together where they could turn it on when they need to. That was a little bit of the conversation of can they turn it on offensively when they need to? And they did. And I think that's a good one, Darcy, of this game in particular. This almost gave us a sense of false bravado of, yeah, you're right, this is the Patriots. This is the regular season. They'll go through the motions. They'll get to the playoffs and turn it on. And then the Super Bowl happened, and that was the decline of the current era of the dynasty before the retooling will need to take place.
Yeah, retool. I'll retool you. But also that fourth down controversial play. The Bills were at the Chiefs' 41-yard line. They were up by 1 at that point. Still 13 minutes to go in the game when Josh Allen was stopped short. Right, wrong, indifferent, whatever. They were still leading. And in those final 13 minutes, the Chiefs then go down and score a touchdown with Patrick Mahomes running for the 10-yard touchdown. And then that beautiful play and finding, being able to extend the play a little bit to find Justin Watson in the back of the end zone for the 2-point conversion, which gave them the 7-point lead. And then the Bills went down and scored a touchdown on fourth down, which tied it up at 29. And then the Chiefs went down and got the field goal. And the Bills got the ball with 3.5 minutes to go, down 3. Josh Allen, go win the game. Score a touchdown, go win the game. Instead, Josh Allen incomplete, Josh Allen incomplete, Josh Allen 5 yards, Josh Allen incomplete. What would they say if that was Patrick Mahomes? Right?
It's true.
Just as what would they say if that was Patrick Mahomes that missed the wide open player on a 2-point conversion? Because we always hear that of like, look at this amazing play. What would they say if that was Mahomes? They talk about it for a week.
But they don't because it's so normal.
Yeah.
For him.
Yeah.
It's the opposite.
I posted the meme of Happy Gilmore and Frankenstein's fat foot and, hey, shooter, why don't you drive the green from here? Yeah, that's impossible. Happy did it just not 20 minutes ago or whatever it was that he did. So it was like, oh, Mahomes has never done this. Mahomes just did that 20 minutes ago. What are you talking about?
Oh, good. You can count.
Oh, great. You can count. Yes.
And you can count on Patrick beating Josh Allen and the Bills in the playoffs.
That's 100% right.
Not this year.
Yep.
But in 2025, good call, Darcy.
I like it. We'll get into some more of those, our number one storylines with Mick Schaefer.
Twitter thinks he's funny.
Shame on you nerds.
His wife and kids think he's lame. No! We couldn't get Paul, so we're stuck with Mick.
Yep. Okay, still got it going on.
Mick Schaefer on The Zone with Jason Anderson.
Hold your ears, folks. It's showtime.
All right, hanging out on this Wednesday edition of The Zone, final hour of the year with Mick Schaefer. We have to bring him in for the final hour of the year. We're like, you know what? The last show that we're going to do of the year, the final hour, we need Mick Schaefer in here. It's not that it just happened to fall on a Wednesday.
Just happened. Hey, it's not New Year's Eve for me. It is National Stranger Things Day.
Oh, yeah, the final episode comes out tonight, 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
You're going to watch that or the Miami-Ohio State game?
Football.
Football.
Yeah. And then, like, maybe this weekend I'll catch
I've got
Stranger Things.
I need to finish one more episode of the second installment of the last season. So the second to last episode I need to watch of season 5.
Okay.
So this last season, I just need one more episode of the one that they released on Christmas. I've only seen those first 2 episodes of the 3.
A lot of conversations. Oh my
what?
gosh.
Why are they
talking.
conversing and talking? I mean, my goodness, dude. I need for them to get out of that sort of utopian little kid's house. It's really
well. They needed to wrap on shooting.
I really hate that
because,
storyline.
Mike and Elle and Dustin and Lucas and all those actors in real life had to get home to their children.
Yeah, it's been 1 year. In Stranger Things, it's the 1 year anniversary of that all happening, and I like the I like the trailer that shows him as a 5-year-old.
Wait, no, it's not. It's not 1 year since
it feels
started.
like it's 1 year. But it was like the November
2016.
6th.
I don't know what you guys are really alluding to.
Stranger Things.
Wow.
Yeah, we're not even alluding to it. We're just talking about it
No,
directly.
the kids are they adults now? I watched season 1 and they were kids. These people were kids.
No, but I think in the storyline, right?
They're like mid-20s now.
Isn't it coming up on the 1 year anniversary of that?
Not the 1 year. I mean, they were like in 6th grade, man, when the whole thing started. It's the anniversary, but not the 1 year.
I'm not talking about since the season came out.
Since season 1?
No, I'm talking about since, like, originally he went to the Upside Down.
I don't know.
Yeah, he was in like 6th grade.
I know he was, but in the storyline, it's like this is the anniversary, so maybe it's like
they're
4.
like freshmen or sophomores in high school at this point.
And they're
so I
still
think it's
in
been
high
about
school.
three-ish years.
Three-ish
They're still
years.
in high school in the show? They're like 25.
Yeah.
I just told you that information.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Yeah,
That seems crazy. That seems like they should be in
I guess
college, get a job.
I guess they were in the first season. They were getting together playing Dungeons and Dragons and stuff. Yeah, they weren't.
They should be
weren't
like
in high school at that
accountants
point.
by now. What is going on? They should be in marketing.
It's been 9
major.
years since they started, and it's been about 3, I think, year span.
Yeah.
They're in the fall of '87 right now.
What are the real names of the people?
I just don't know why they.
I can tell you the ages.
The actor.
Millie Bobby Brown's like 22. I think Finn
You
Wolfhard's
mean
like
Millie
21.
Bobby Brown Bon Jovi?
Yeah.
21. Finn Wolfhard.
Yeah, 22, 23.
23.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they should be in college.
Let's use her real name, Millie Bobby Brown Bon
Joe
Jovi.
Keery is like 31.
Joe whom?
Yeah.
Keery?
Yeah.
How do you know these guys' names?
They're kind of famous. Joe
But, like-
Keery is also a singer.
So-
DJO?
Oh, I used to get called. I look like this guy a lot.
Yeah,
I had
sure.
longer hair.
What, Joe Keery?
Yeah.
Yeah. Look like Steve Harrington.
He actually has an acting twin. It's
He's
from
33.
Parks and Rec.
Oh, yes.
Yes,
What's
that
his
guy.
name? They
yeah.
look a lot alike.
This guy's 33.
The worst. That guy.
It's the worst. I love that freaking actor.
Isn't it the same guy?
No, it's not.
Different actors.
Yep. So here's my confusion with that. And it's been a long time we've been watching the show, right? Since what? It came out in 1985?
2016.
2016, right. So going on a decade. The Royals were the reigning World Series champions when I watched the first episode of Stranger Things. So awesome. Here's the thing. Lucas, in like 2 episodes ago, said, "What's tomorrow?"
It's the anniversary, not 1 year.
Right. But he's like, it started on that. So it's now going to end on this date. Why can't it end on that date a year from now?
Vecna's in charge. He's
But he's been in charge for a while.
yeah.
I mean,
well,
yeah.
they wrote him in, I think, in season 4.
Oh, you mean that they didn't? You mean that they?
Season 1 was just one Demogorgon, right?
You mean?
And then you bring in the Russians. They're the bad guys, and they're like, okay, hell else? And now they're on to a different universe. It's getting a little too sciencey.
So you're willing to sit here and tell me that first season was written in a way that they did
were
not
planning
expect it to
tonight.
be
They were arguing
this
to tonight.
freaking big,
Yeah.
and they had to go, okay, what else? All right, and then
They got a bunch of no-name actors and Winona Ryder. Like, okay, I'll do this
Yep.
pilot.
Yes, and Stranger Things was a just phenomenon, and they're like, we should do more seasons. Okay, then what? Well, let's do at least one more. Let's see if it can. Okay, we did that. Okay, let's do one more and see if it can. And it's like every time it's like, well, okay, so we're going to do one more. All right, let's add this then if we're going to do one more season. That's the way it hasn't felt like this was viewed as like a 5-season thing that all of it's going to come together.
It's good they're ending it now. Don't
Yes.
drag it out even more because yes, they are
It
kid
does
actors.
feel like it was
Similar
a-
thing happened with the Harry Potter. Like,
Really?
how old are these kids in
Yeah.
the 7th movie here? But
Yeah.
they have Hawkins. You have the tunnels underneath Hawkins.
Yeah, that's right.
You have the Upside Down, and now you have this portal
Now you got the
into
portal.
another world.
Spoiler
Like, how
alert.
much is
Yeah.
underground at
I have
Hawkins?
no idea what we're talking about.
Well,
right
Will's
now.
the
Stranger
one.
Things
Well, we
stuff.
found out that Will's the one that built those
I've
tunnels.
been blocking
I
his
mean,
house.
didn't realize
Sleep,
the whole
of
time
course.
in his sleep.
Aliens did.
Yeah.
No, Will. Well, he's kind of
No, Will built the tunnels in his mind.
Extraterrestrial. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a
Well,
sorcerer.
supernatural.
Yeah,
He's a sorcerer.
He's a
not
sorcerer.
not a wizard.
Not a
This
wizard.
is very
jackass.
nerdy to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what it is. One of my learns, if today was Monday, would have been that I learned that that there are 10-year-olds that are watching Stranger Things.
I thought it was meant for those. at
buddy,
that
I'll,
age.
It is
gory.
TVMA. Yeah, I guess it's 14.
There
It's
was
TV
death
14.
and blood all over the place. And
I thought it was more like a high
monsters.
school show.
No, it's high school.
Death and blood
yes.
and gory TVMA.
It's horror.
It
it's
started
thriller.
that way, but season 3 it started to turn dark.
Yeah.
And then they don't care now.
And now there's demons and.
I'll check raise you with my 5-year-old niece.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. She's
Yeah.
I see her at Christmas and she goes like this to me.
Oh my god.
And then she wipes imaginary blood from her nose.
Yeah, my
Keep listening, you'll get it.
My
someday,
son was
Sterling.
asking if he could watch, and I'm like, no. And then he
would
started.
not be the only-
He started
yeah.
giving me like
I mean, it's
things that are happening in the
kids in
show
his class,
because kids
yeah.
in his class are talking about. it. I'm like, that's not true. He's like, yeah, this is. They were talking
You're
about
just
this
being
and
a
that.
lame-o
I'm like,
parent. I mean,
Totally.
lame-o
Totally lame parent. And I told him when you're married with 3 kids, you can watch it for the first
Tell
time.
them to
And,
watch Team America or something.
and that's when
Yes.
you'll get your phone, your first
it's
phone.
puppets. What can
Married
go
with 3
wrong?
kids. Married with 3 kids. Although he is still learning how everything works, we haven't really explained that to him because we had mentioned that this couple that had had a child, and they weren't married, and he said, "Hold on, men can have children?" Said no. He
Depends
goes,
on who you ask.
he goes, but they're not married though. So how
That's
can
a-
they
that's
have
always a
kids?
big one for
I said,
kids.
yeah, it's a good point. So anyway, the Chiefs, what they're doing this weekend, right? They're going to be Chiefs. Let's talk football. Let's talk sports,
Chiefs
son.
has been TVMA this year.
TV 14.
No, do not. It's awful.
Yeah, I said.
Hide your eyes.
Nick, I said with Cynthia.
They're in the upside down.
No,
right?
they really
Is that?
are. Nice job.
Proud of you, Sterling.
Nice callback,
I saw
Sterling.
season 1.
No, you're going to start with season 4. That's what you do. You're going to go to season 4, then season 2, then season 5, then 1, then 3, and be like, oh, I see how it fits together. This is like Pulp Fiction to me. Let's just mix and match here. But I told Cynthia, I said, my kid, I've told the story about how spoiled he is that a few years ago he asked in October who the Chiefs were going to play in the Super Bowl. And I said, go to your room. You're grounded for a week. But
We got it right.
yeah,
What year was
exactly.
that? Was
This
that
was
like, Eagles?
when they played the 49ers.
49ers.
When they played
Second
the
time?
Yeah, second time. And then last week, he says, as the before the Christmas Day game, and he's like, you really don't care who wins here? And I'm like, it's kind of a win-win. If they beat the Broncos, we get to make fun of the Broncos. If they lose, they get a better draft pick. So, we'll see if they play well and look competitive so we can still make fun of the Broncos while they lose. That might be the best case scenario. And he goes, it's going to be kind of nice this year to not have to stress over games in January and February.
Look at old soul right there.
And
old
I
soul.
said, go to your room, you're grounded. Again, you're grounded. You spoiled little...
Pulls his iPad in there, is sneakily watching Stranger Things. It's like, my plan worked.
Gotcha. Yes. So yeah, go catch up for tonight's.
There's only like
season
40-some episodes.
Series finale. Yeah, you
Catch
can
up.
you can do it. You watch it 2 times, kind of like listening to podcast.
Well,
2
tonight's
times speed.
episode's like 2.5 hours. They're
I know,
playing it
right?
like
Yes.
movie theaters.
That's my pet peeve.
Are they
by the
really?
way. People
Yeah.
who do 2 times speed on things.
On podcasts.
Anything.
What's
Yeah.
wrong with that?
It's not how it was meant to be created.
Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, well,
But they gave you the option.
Ooh, yeah, that's right.
Just because
The creators
they
did
gave
give you the option.
They gave you the option doesn't mean you should do it. People who wear pajamas to the airport, yeah, you have the option. You have free will. Don't do it. Where's your decorum?
I'd rather you wear pajama pants than shorts.
No.
They make pajama shorts?
No.
Okay.
They're called ports.
Oh, you mean overall shorts? Any shorts?
Just shorts
to the airport?
Yeah, and
Weird.
on a plane.
Wait, what
Yeah.
if it's 90 degrees out?
Yeah, that's a bad call.
Wear some jeans.
Wait.
That's
You don't
dumb.
like shorts to the airport in the
I don't
summer?
need to be
You've never
sitting
worn
next to
shorts?
somebody with their, short shorts on and then legs and then hit
You
my...
sit next to me all the time when I come with my shorts
Yeah,
on?
seriously.
I know you.
Yeah.
I know you, but there's also a big table between us. See, I'm not sitting right next to
So you
somebody.
just don't like shorts, but it's not even an airport thing at all.
Are
What
you
if
a
you're
knee
at a
guy?
restaurant?
You hate
Well,
knees?
If you're at a restaurant, you don't like to have people wearing shorts there?
No, I'm talking about I'm in the window seat. Somebody I don't know is in the middle seat, and they're taking up space, and they've got shorts and their bare legs, and they're...
You are so
Oh.
soft.
Yeah, that's
No,
weird.
it's gross.
It is really soft.
I don't know
Back
that
to my
dude.
point, though.
You cool with them taking their shoes off then?
No.
No, that's wild.
that's weird.
That's
Why?
wild.
Yeah,
Why?
we're normal people.
That's wild.
Why can you not have your... I don't want them to take their shoes off either, but you're
This
cool
is
with their
a
bare
vast-
leg, but
no,
not bare feet?
This goalpost
Well,
has
you're
moved
cool with them in their
75 yards.
shorts in the restaurant. I'm cool with the shorts in the restaurant. I'm not cool with them taking their shoes off the restaurant.
Also,
so I'm
too.
consistently
Well, they're not allowed to because
anti-shoes
no
across the
shoes,
board.
no service. They're not allowed
Mick
to
and
there.
I are lockstep in this, but still, that's
Yeah,
part of
normal
the
people.
degradation or what do you
got
call
it.
it with
Nailed
the decline,
line of
the
demarcation?
decline of America's when you see pajamas in the airport. There's
that what it
there's
is?
a fine line there of have some sort of pride in yourself. I don't know where I was going there with this whole conversation, but that's part of it.
Yeah, for sure.
What else were we talking about before that?
I'm not sure, but
I gotta start wearing pants coming into work because apparently if I wear shorts, it's just.
I said sitting next to me on an airplane. I don't care what people wear
So
shorts.
you've never worn
I don't wear shorts on an airplane.
on an airplane?
No, I don't.
You're vacationing to the beach with your family
Wearing jeans.
in July.
Wearing jeans. Wearing long pants.
How much money would it take you to do that? Would you? Is
Oh,
there an
not
amount of money?
A lot. I mean,
I don't want to sit next to somebody on an
$7,
airplane
yeah.
anyway, unless it's my family. So I don't want to sit next to somebody there anyway.
Good.
So yeah, but if you want to pay for my plane ticket, then I'll wear shorts and take a little blanket with me and wrap it over my
But
legs.
that's a cop out. That's cheating.
No, you said shorts. You didn't say I can't take a blanket. You didn't
Well,
take.
so
I
you
can't-
don't like
you
to see
didn't-
people's exposed
You didn't
knees?
say that I couldn't accessorize.
Doesn't
no.
like knees.
So here's the thing: as shorts are getting shorter and shorter and shorter, I think it's a little ridiculous to like Sterling's age. These frat boys that are Sterling's age wearing shorts that might as well just.
You got the 5 inchers.
The
There's
5 inches.
nothing
yeah.
wrong with skies out, thighs out. There's nothing wrong.
But so you're
When
talking
you-
about sky in sky.
No,
in
yes,
thigh.
skies out, thighs
In
out.
sky
in
in
the,
thigh.
in the skies.
When
The
you
friendly
have
skies out.
when you have legs
Friendly
like
thighs
these,
are out.
no, when you have legs like these, you're gonna show them off.
Cool. Anyway,
We got there. Okay.
Yep. Great. So Stranger Things drops tonight. That's good. Let's get into our top stories of the year.
Well, thanks
Our
for
number-
inviting me to this conversation,
Yeah.
by the way.
What's your
My
number one
God.
story of the?
I don't know. I have to think about it.
Well, you think about it while I give it.
The number one, it's just Chiefs?
No, just in general. So, story.
It's a stadium.
Well, sorry.
It can't- yeah, it
we
can't
gave
be
the caveat
stadium.
that the stadium doesn't count because that's too easy. That it's been talked about for
Way
a
to
week.
listen, Mick.
Sterling.
You invite me to this conversation.
Sterling's number
I
two
listened
story
on the way in.
Yeah, there you go. Sterling's number 2 story of the entire year was Michael Garcia's breakout year, and then the contract.
really?
Number 2 story of
Number
the
2
sports.
story in
That was
Kansas
number
City?
3.
That was number 3. Sorry, that was number 3. I apologize. That was number 3. Number 2 story for Sterling
The
was
schematic sameness that has been the 2022 Chiefs to now.
the conversation around
Does it
Andy.
count as a one story, though?
I had my number 2 as Mahomes' injury that sort of encapsulated everybody seeing how much he's been carrying the team and then finally breaking down that they've got to do something to take some weight off his shoulders. But the Mahomes injury.
Schematic sameness was the biggest story.
I think that the lack of change that's been going on for 3+
Mm-hmm.
years
I
has.
feel like that's not a story, though. It's like, oh, okay, I liked the overall weather in 2025. That's my story.
My number 1.
Got to narrow it down.
I'm going to
did
go
narrow
number
it down. The specific scheme of how it's scheme more than player.
I'm going to go number 1 here. My number 1 is Chris Kleiman retiring at age 58 and Colin Klein taking over. I think if
Wow,
we're
it's a slow year if we're doing Garcia and Kleiman this year.
what's the number 1 story?
Well, I
That the
wasn't given time to prep.
Stadium doesn't count.
Was that on Darcy or Sterling? Who should let me know?
Darcy.
Darcy, yeah, it was clearly on Darcy. Deebs. I'm pretty sure Jack Johnson was supposed to let
you
you
guys
know.
keep talking. I'm going to think of a better answer.
Leibs and Curtis were supposed to text you.
But people should not wear pajamas on the plane.
My biggest story is Sterling wanting to be naked on a plane.
Losing a Super Bowl is bigger than those things. It's bigger than Kleiman. It's a bigger story.
Well, that's part of my schematic.
No, that can't be
issue.
part of your. That was your number 2.
They
I tried
lost
to be
because
positive.
of scheme.
I had
Yeah.
them winning the AFC Championship game as my second story. So
But
I guess
then the Super Bowl.
subsequently losing would be number
I
one.
mean,
but
losing
it's
is obviously a big story, losing the Super Bowl, but they had won back-to-back. They were going for 3 straight. So
biggest story is having Mick in studio with us.
It's like Time. Sometimes they put a bad dude as their person of the year, right? Because he was the biggest person, or she was the biggest news maker.
Yeah, I thought the scheme was ass. That's why it was part of the equation.
Yeah, I mean, Time doesn't put.
So anyway,
1,000 people on their
So
cover.
anyway,
That's your equivalent.
They did. They put $7+ billion one time.
am I the 2004
Or
Time
me.
magazine
Was that
person
what
of
it
the year?
was? Was it like a
I think I'm
mirror?
the 2004
What year?
Time person of the year. I had that on my Twitter account at one point. 2004 Time person of the year, 2006 Time person of the year, something like that. It's my
should be
number 1.
something that
Shirley.
happened, not like your opinion.
It's
on
my
something.
it's my number 1, Mick.
What is
okay? It's my number 1.
Yeah, no.
Or it's my opinion. It's my number 1.
My dissent will be
All right?
mine as well.
It's my truth.
All right, you can't. Don't tell me about my. Don't you know what? Don't gaslight me. Don't tell me about my lived experience.
I'm going to air it out, so I feel better.
My
All right, go
lived
ahead.
experience.
Your one is what?
My one is Chris Kleiman retiring at age 58, which feels like in the prime of his career, and getting Colin Klein to take over at K-State at football. Look, I mean, if we're not going with the overall, Royals had another good season this year. Chiefs had a rough season this year. Like
2006,
events that
they
took
put
place.
you.
Yeah, 2006 Time Person of the Year. That's what I had that on my Twitter
And
account
that's
for a
what
long
I'm
time.
doing to your answer.
Oh, cool. You're saying
Time was
no,
back
thank you.
then.
Yeah, you're wearing shorts. That's the problem with wearing shorts right there. But I think with the implications of that and how rough the college football season was for a lot of them, and if we're not going individual, like the season of the Chiefs is not just one, the biggest storyline of the season is the Chiefs not making the playoffs. Well, yes, I agree. That's why I went specifically Mahomes' injury. And this being Chris Kleiman retiring at age 58 and Colin Klein coming in and what could be the next wave of K-State football. I mean, a local coach retiring and quit and going through a coaching search is a pretty big deal. So
I got
that's
a
my
bigger
number
one
one.
than that.
What's
Peter Vermees was a bigger deal. Been there a lot longer. Oh, you don't like soccer? Is that why?
I like how Mick's
Not
trying
really.
to one-up the best story of the year.
No matter what.
Darcy. Not even trying.
No matter what.
You're kind of being a buzzkill.
I know, I love it.
Buzz Killington.
You should have invited
Why are
me.
you so angry?
You didn't invite me.
I didn't.
We invited you on the
say
show
it.
here.
Yeah, but I'm
You were
never-
literally
What's your number
sitting
4?
here right now. I'm looking.
What's your
at
number
you.
4 story of the year? Nick?
You do 4 off the top of my head.
No, I need you to rank them of the stories you haven't come up with. I need you to rank them right now off the top of your head. So Peter Vermees, bigger deal than Chris Kleiman?
Oh, yeah.
NBA
No.
draft picks apparently being able to play college basketball.
Huge. Way bigger than Vermees and Kleiman and Mahomes' injury.
Okay. What's yours? What's your number one? You said already?
I just said that just the sadness that was all 3 local schools being very, very bad at college football this year.
Wow, you're just all-encompassing.
Correct. I'm the 2006 Time magazine. No, because
And that's why I went specific events with Mahomes' injury.
scheme
and then
is specific
Chris
of
Kleiman
why
retiring.
the Chiefs were buns this year. So for me, I think that all 3 local schools had so much hype heading into this year, and I think just the disappointment that permeated throughout was tangible for every single fan base. For Kansas, it was the case of final year with Jalen Daniels, and that's a big deal of, okay, after this year, you're going to have to rebuild. I mean, you have to try and find a quarterback. You have to find a lot of new pieces. This was a big year for Kansas to take that kind of all-in step. For K-State, it was just Avery Johnson, the guy. Obviously, Will Howard went to Ohio State. He wins a championship. You go and you stick with Avery Johnson. You think that the schedule lines up for a college football playoff run for you guys, and you were bad. Bad. I mean, it started off with a loss in Ireland against Iowa State. For Missouri, you had the easier schedule that you're probably ever going to have in the SEC. You bring in Bo Prabula. You are coming off of back-to-back 10-plus win seasons. You have a couple of, first-round or second-round draft picks on your defensive line. You bring in a big-name linebacker with Trotter. The offensive line, you have the big signing of Green from Oklahoma. You think, all right, this is it. This is the year that Missouri's making the college football playoffs, and you don't beat a single team over 500. I mean, to me, I think this was a storyline of all 3 teams with massive hopes and realistic massive hopes that all fell extremely flat.
God, it took forever. I'll do Mahomes' injury
as number one.
I think it's top 3.
Yeah, I think it's top 3 as well. Honestly, though, is the biggest story
sports betting being legalized
in Missouri. Missouri. Yep.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Is the biggest story in the area Kelsey and Taylor Swift getting engaged?
Don't.
That's a big one too.
Don't.
I mean, that's probably the biggest
world.
sport.
That's the biggest.
Yeah, biggest sports story in the world.
Lives.
In the world.
We don't. It's personal.
Really?
Yes.
It's pretty personal for Mahomes. Mahomes ACL and LCL. It was pretty personal.
That's not a hip.
I'm a poison, right?
Was that?
It's not personal. It's business. I'm a poison,
right?
right?
Put it out on Instagram. Was that personal?
No.
Are you gonna lecture them?
But I don't.
It's personal, Travis.
I don't give a.
Yeah.
hoot.
Don't let or a holler.
Or a holler.
A lot of people hollered when they heard that. They were hooting around.
I'm happy for him. I'm happy, but I don't think it needs to be like we have to discuss their personal life.
So you don't think people should put out the engagements and weddings on like Facebook?
No,
and
they
Twitter?
should for their friends, and like we can say we're happy for them. But
that makes it less personal.
You don't need
though.
to talk about it like and be like, oh my gosh.
It makes it less personal though. It makes it more public.
I am married to the category of biggest story, whether I liked it or not. I have gotten past like I don't like that.
I love it.
So that should be in there. What about World Cup draw?
I said it already. Sorry.
Yeah.
You said that one?
Yes.
Yep. Well, that's really specific. Man, that may be too specific for you. Was that your number 3?
Yeah.
Darcy's honorable mention.
Darcy didn't give you our list. He didn't send you our list of top 3
I
honorable
heard you guys
mentions.
talking about the number 2s on the way in. I thought they were all really kind of number 2 answers.
Oh, really? Is that right? Yeah, that makes sense.
I coughed so hard in the first segment that I have a muscle in my neck that's
yeah, something's going on.
It really hurts really bad, and so that might be the biggest story for me.
Yeah.
Oh, didn't take a single sick day this year.
That's a big story.
Not a one.
He just took a lot of vacation.
He's out Friday.
He just penciled in the vacation instead of the sick whenever he left.
Nothing wrong with that.
He will miss Friday though. He will be out with sick day on Friday.
I actually might be. There's a chance. If it gets worse,
he's got a neck injury, and he's got fighting a little bit of a cold going on. Yeah. So I had a bunch of them that I wrote down. Like we've already talked about some honorable mentions, like Josh Simmons' development as a left tackle.
Well, Josh Simmons' absence.
Oh,
that
the
whole
13
that's an
birthday,
event.
birthday parties at Blue Hawk.
That was a big one. But
that's
counts,
more of a full
that counts
season.
As 13.
Yeah,
events.
that wasn't one thing. That was like a whole season worth. Sports betting in Missouri was in that
Darren
conversation.
Peterson and that train wreck that's going on over there.
Yeah, I don't know that that's in the list right now. It might be for 2026.
You don't want to be a prisoner to the moment because you excluded the stadium. Or would everybody
everybody's going to be number
stadium?
one. I think that's number one story in a long time.
Yeah.
The Chiefs moving to Kansas is unbelievable. And I guess believable for the last
didn't know if
couple
you
of years.
Cared about it because you weren't here.
Well, here's the thing. I had been talking about it for a couple of years, and I told them just because I've already said so much about it that if you guys are going to do it, can you do it when I'm on vacation, please? That'd be great. I appreciate that. Seren, maybe don't even give me a heads up that you're going to be breaking that news before I put in that vacation time. I appreciate that.
Did the Royals announce that they bought that Asperia campus land in 25, or was that 24?
24.
But does that
actually
also
was
count as
25. Yeah.
The move. I thought we kind of we said stadiums are.
Well, we said Chiefs.
Well, then I
'Cause
guess
we
the
don't know
Royals
what
not
the
having a
biggest,
home.
but it's.
Is there a deadline today on that?
With what's the biggest story?
No, with like Royals in Kansas. Was there a deadline? I thought
there was
an 31st.
There was an arbitrary deadline of January 1st, even though the actual deadline was a full year extension.
Okay.
I'm just not sure that the star bonds are going to be also given to the Royals after going through what they did with the Chiefs and making the star bond district half of eastern Kansas. So I don't know that. Can you carve out more for the Royals?
Kingsley Suamatia's growth.
He did put on what, 15 pounds or so?
So there's
Trey Smith's ankle injury.
What about KU getting like an 8 seed in the tournament? What was their seed? A 6, something like that?
Yeah, they lost to Arkansas, Mizzou.
It was an 8-9 game, right?
Yeah, Mizzou and KU both lost in the first round.
Like 8th in the conference too. That was a big
that's
story.
a big story for you.
Brian Cook looking good again.
Yeah, there you go. That's what we were all.
Harrison Butker struggles.
Carter Jensen's development.
Oh, I got it. Matt Ariza being a good punter this year.
Oh yeah, he's got more touch on his foot. Yeah.
I don't hate Carter Jensen. Noah
Why,
Cameron.
I would hope you don't hate Carter Jensen.
Well,
Why would you
just
hate
that
him?
as the answer.
Why
Noah
would you
Cameron.
hate Carter Jensen?
Noah Cameron is a better answer though.
Always here for the better answer. You give me the answer, I'm gonna find a better one.
And fear of sounding like Sterling, his development, his overall.
Did you
like-
see the underlying metrics though, with Noah Cameron or
God.
Carter Jensen? Then you would be sounding like Sterling.
God,
My number one story is Sterling's underlying metrics.
There's nothing wrong with. See, you guys are nerdy with TV shows. I'm nerdy with sports.
We're nerdy. We just watch them.
Yeah, it's just pop culture type things. Did you know that Travis
Too
and Taylor are
mainstream
dating?
for me.
Did you know that Travis and Taylor are engaged? Did you know that Colin Saunders' brother is one of the backup dancers for Taylor Swift? Can you believe that, Sterling? Did you know that?
I did.
Oh, okay, cool. I did. By the way, as a serious note, did you see Colin Saunders' tweet when? So episode 2 of the End of an Era documentary that's on Disney Plus for Taylor Swift, they get into Cameron, Colin's brother, and talking about his upbringing with Colin, and then talked about, that there was an open audition that they didn't say what it was for, but they just said, here's the choreographer is Mandy Moore, different Mandy Moore. And he was like, I don't even know what this is for, but I have to be a part of it. And so he called Colin, and he was like, at this point, I didn't have a dollar to my name. And I said, I need to take this. I need to go there and audition. There's just something that tells me. And Colin was like, I got you. I got the ticket. I got the hotel. I'll take care of it. And when that happened, Swifties just started flooding Colin Saunders' foundation with
great.
money. And so Colin Saunders put out, was like, everybody, thank you. The plane ticket has been more than paid back. I appreciate it. Oh, that was really cool of, seeing that story. And then Colin Saunders. It was all because they also talked about Colin, playing in the Super Bowl and Cameron watching him. That was pretty neat to see. But yes, Sterling, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are dating, and they are engaged now. I know the pop culture thing isn't really up your alley.
Learned something new today.
Yeah. Your number one story, Nick?
So, for real, and we're excluding stadiums.
Yep.
Chiefs lose Super Bowl, 1. 2, Mahomes injury.
They did lose Super Bowl 1, you're right. Although I don't think that's a 2025 story. I think that's been known.
They also lost Super Bowl 60 -1.
I see.
As well. That one. Mahomes, maybe my 2.
Yeah. You're just Chiefs-centric here.
Well, I mean, the Chiefs are the number one thing in town.
Yeah, they are.
Easily.
They are, yeah.
Hunter Renfro being released.
That's it. Nailed it. We got it. We got it. The moment on the show when Jason said, all right, over under Melendez and Renfro, and we both go, under!
You didn't even say how many.
We didn't, what the category was.
Under! It's still under! All right.
I'll go positive AFC Championship game. How about that?
I like that. That was Michael's number 2, but you made it your number 1? Or your number 2?
My 3. It's my 3.
Number 3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
As you would say, Michael says it's number 2. You're like, you're dumb. That's number 3.
Duh.
So stupid. Why are you so stupid? Patrick Mahomes injury number 2. You're dumb. That's number 1. Actually, both Mahomes injury was both of our number 2s.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. You're just wrong about the number 1 because they've lost the Super Bowl before.
They have.
Chris Kleiman's never retired from K-State.
Mahomes has been injured before.
Colin Klein's never been the head coach at K-State before.
Right.
It's never happened. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. Rotten Tomatoes. We'll do that next. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy, Mick Schaefer hanging out with us. We head up until 2 o'clock. At about 2:30, coverage of the Citrus Bowl, Michigan and Texas will be playing right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB, leading into coverage of the Cotton Bowl first quarterfinal game, Miami and Ohio State, that being almost a double-digit spread in favor of the Buckeyes. Right now, Iowa is on top of Vanderbilt 24-17 in the ReliaQuest Bowl. That's in the third quarter. Let's play a little Rotten Tomatoes. And who wants to start? Mick, did Michael let you know we're doing Rotten Tomatoes today? He probably didn't. We're doing our top 2 Rotten Tomatoes of all time. Doing top 2 Rotten Tomatoes of only the year 2025.
Of the year?
Of just 2025. They had to come out this year. No, that's not the case. Sterling, why don't you go first? Do you have your movies?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
In honor of my neck being injured and me feeling sick, I tried to find a sickness movie.
Oh, that makes sense.
I forgot about this one. This was a real treat. Cabin Fever. Bert, a college student, vacation with friends in the mountains, mistakenly shoots a local man with a skin infection while hunting in the woods. Panicking, he abandons the scene and leaves the man for dead.
Yeah.
But the man stumbles into a reservoir. He infects the water supply.
Oh, no.
All of a sudden, Bert's friend gets infected, and now there's a contagious disease on the run.
Who's in that and what year?
This was 2003.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
2003. It was James DeBeo, Ryder Strong,
What a great
Joey
name.
Kern,
Try to.
Serena Vincent,
Never saw it.
Jordan Ladd.
I feel like Ryder Strong is a name that you would make up if you called a bar pranking somebody. What do you think of the tomato? What do the critics think there, Michael?
45.
Ryder Strong's a linebacker for Iowa.
That was a name that you would come up with if you were in the adult film.
What did you say? I'm sorry,
I said
Michael.
45.
I'm going to say 25.
I'm going to say 35. It's like 5.
Darcy wins 62.
What are we doing
They
with life?
they liked Cabin
What are
Fever.
we
This
doing with life?
Nice job, Michael.
crazy movie.
But was it a cult classic?
It has 250,000 plus ratings, so
Wow.
it was
Man, I guess
it was pretty
people
big.
saw it.
I just missed this in 03, I guess.
62 is the answer. I will go 55.
I'm going to go 68.
I'm going to say 40.
Darcy wins again, 44.
Oh, man.
Darcy, you a big Cabin Fever fan there, bud?
I've never heard of the movie.
Well,
Sure.
I mean, he's got it back there.
That's right.
behind
Yeah,
the
he is
glass
stuck
in the
back
booth all
there.
the time. Kind of some cabin fever.
Yep. There you go. All right, Michael, your first movie.
My first movie is in theme with New Year's. New Year's Eve. This movie, never heard of it. 2011. Intertwining stories promise love, hope, forgiveness, second chances, and more for a number of New Yorkers on a celebrated night. I mean, just looking at the cast.
Wasn't that like a crazy star-studded cast that they came up with? Or was that Valentine's Day?
Valentine's Day.
One of those days it was like...
Halle Berry's in it. Halle Berry
okay.
and John Bon Jovi. That's why I found
go.
this movie, because you were
go.
talking about Millie Bobby Brown, and then you
Bon
said...
Jovi.
Yeah.
Millie Bobby
So-
Brown Bon Jovi. Yes. Let's get her full name right, okay? All right.
That's me. I'm going to do...
And Ludacris is in it, too.
Luda. I feel like it's going to be one of those movies that was, but the cast billed more and everybody hated it because I barely heard of it. So I'm going to go with 51.
I'm going to go 37.
12.
It was 7%.
Dang it. Dang it.
That's awesome.
Point me up, baby.
God, I always forget. Darcy loves movies he's
It's a
never
great
heard
point.
of.
It's a great point.
That have barely gotten in.
Well, that's what...
But was it a cult classic?
Was it? Like it would have had to get to like 15%.
19%.
50.
Hold on. 22.
It's 45%.
No!
Dang! Wow.
I
That's
know.
kind of a cult classic.
I know
You were
my,
off by 5% both ways.
Yeah, I know my
Wow.
Ludacris movies.
Nice job, dude. Mick, what's your first movie?
I watched this last night. I had embarrassingly never seen it. Tim is a rising executive, works for a boss who hosts a monthly event in which the guest brings the biggest buffoon, and whoever does gets a career boost. It is Steve Carell. It is Paul Rudd. It is Dinner for Schmucks.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with...
2010.
Yep, 36.
It's better than that.
Well, I'm not saying it's
pretty
not
good. It was a
important.
fine movie. It was fine. I'll go 62.
I think it's going to be in, like, I'll say 52.
What'd you say?
36.
Goes to Jason,
Yeah.
42%.
All right.
Yeah.
That was only 6%
It's
off.
a good
All right,
call.
Take that. Now, Sterling, you are aware when you say it was a better movie, I think it's this, that it's not what you think of the
No,
movie,
I know.
right? Okay.
I know.
It's the critics. I
was
just
a
wanted to
little
make sure.
aggressive there.
Just want to make sure that
I
we're on the
thought-
same
but
page.
I thought they liked Steve Carell enough
Yeah.
to give him the
I mean,
Steve.
it
the
is
Steve
your game
boost.
and all.
It's not like the game we played earlier, the top 3 stories of 2025.
I'll go
It's just personal.
62%.
I'll say 72.
I'll go 59.
42% as well. For
Wow,
Dennis.
right. 2-2. Nick, you need to get on the board here, bud.
Everybody's getting them all at once.
Yes, it's Mick's turn to
I
get
didn't
both
think it
of
was
these
that
right.
bad. It wasn't great, but it wasn't that bad.
There were some funny scenes overall. And like,
It was
okay,
pretty, yeah. It was another one where it goes, some people think I'm a dreamer, but I'm not.
The only one.
The Beatles song.
The only one what?
The only one what?
But I'm not.
I'm not.
That's the name. Yeah. Steve Carell's pretty good.
All right, so this is along with the New Year theme. Experiencing writer's block, like we've all been there.
I picked this movie.
What's that?
I had this movie.
Okay, well then I will come up with another one then. So you already have that, which means you got to come up with another one too.
You both have to come up with new movies.
Because I've got it written down what the tomato and the
What was
popcorn
it?
is. It was I Hate New Year's.
Had you seen it?
Oh no.
Okay, me either.
No, I have not seen it. There were 5 reviews on the tomato meter and 47 on the popcorn. So I'll go with this one. Michael ties up his best friend Chris.
Whoa, Darcy.
In a remote cabin to get him sober.
More cabin stuff.
Just to get him sober.
It's a big cabin.
It's called Resolution.
Okay.
So
Who's in it?
Let's see. Peter Solella and Vinnie Curran.
What year?
Zach McLarnon.
McLaren. You're just making up names.
Yeah, these are real.
This came out in 2012, one of the great years of movies.
And
It's called Resolution.
How many votes?
Over 1,000 on the popcorn and roughly 16 on the critics. So
Roughly
16, give or take, in the margin of error.
Which way is that going to send?
Called
Yeah, I know.
Resolution.
Someone's gonna be 3 people are gonna love it.
Michael ties up his best friend Chris in a remote cabin to get him sober.
72. I feel like there's gonna be someone who's just gonna love it.
Oh, 47.
44.
81%.
Nice.
Sterling gets the point. Yeah, that was surprising. But was it a cult hated movie? I don't know what that would be. Michael, what did the fans, over 1,000 of them, what did they think of this resolution that I just learned was a real thing?
68.
50.
71.
It was there for the taking, 65.
I almost went
But 68 goes to Michael. That would have been tough, though, with the wide range to go 68, 65. But you went the other way.
Thought
Good for
might
you.
be
3-2.
Hey.
To 0. Sorry.
Zero's a score.
That's a good
Zero's
point.
a
Nil.
score.
3 to 2 to nil. That's correct.
All right. A rancher conspires to murder his wife for financial gain and convinces his teenage son to participate.
I'm listening.
1920.
You had me at rancher.
It's called the Schaefer.
Killing. You've got my attention.
It's called the Schaefer Household. Came out in 2026. Whoa, it's weird in the future.
Is it really coming out next year?
It's called 1922. Came out in 2017. It's based on the Stephen King book. I did see this movie. I actually have seen it. Yeah, it came out in 2017 off of the Stephen King book. But yeah, 1922.
That's you, Michael. You didn't
Yeah,
know.
75.
35.
52.
92%.
Oh my God.
Dang, I'm just going the wrong way on these.
92%.
But that's great. Yeah, yep. Michael got it.
Yeah, Michael got it.
Michael got it. All right,
Critics
Rick,
loved this movie.
but was it a flop with the fans?
And what was the
92.
92%.
God, can't be that high. 81.
78.
85.
No one gets it.
Oh no!
Wait. You said 78?
78. Yeah.
You do get it. Barely 58%.
Yes.
Actually, that was a pretty good movie. It was creepy. It was Yeah. Well, it's Stephen King, so
4-3 to 3-0. Michael, your second movie.
In honor of New Year's.
Yeah.
The Hangover.
Hangovers.
Okay. Critics actually like this more than people might think. So I'm going to go with 82.
it's a good guess.
I'm going to go 87.
It's probably not the way things are going.
79.
Sterling got it on the dot.
No way.
Of course I set him up.
I went the wrong way on that
You
one.
just knew it was a good guess by me.
I was going to
Set
say
you up.
78 before. Before you said anything, I was going to say 78. So thank you for your help, Mick.
Sterling jumps up from down 1. Now he's leading 5-4 to 3-0. I'm going to say 87.
84.
It was 84 on the dot.
I am so mad at myself.
Good catch,
It's
too.
just through saline solution.
And I caught it.
No, you didn't. It just stuck on
They'd
your
count,
chest.
that'd count as a catch in the NFL. Noah Gray had that happen. They called it a catch.
That's right. But you got to hit the ground.
Yeah. Mick, your second movie?
Another one I saw over break.
We haven't had many 4-pointers before. That's a
That was pretty good.
That was pretty
Props
good.
to you. Is
Props to
what
you
I'm hearing
for-
about-
Credit
about
to me
hear.
for
credit
getting
to you.
4.
Credit to you
All
for
right,
just
so
going 3 under what somebody else guessed.
You could've done that.
Bob
I know,
is
I
a
know.
washed-up revolutionary who lives in a state of stoned paranoia, surviving off the grid.
Dylan's
with his
listening.
Spirited and self-reliant daughter Willa. This is one battle after another, starring
Oh, yeah.
Leo
Oh, boy, they loved this
Wait,
one.
Leo Chanel?
Yeah.
Yep. And Sean
93.7.
Penn.
93. Sterling?
You went
What'd you
93?
say?
93.
89.
86.
95.
All right, I got a point, everybody. It is 7-4 to 4.
Is that 0? What's the score?
Sorry about that. I keep forgetting.
Stop excluding me.
Sterling?
89.
95.
86.
85.
Oh, yeah. You could have set me up, you punk. 7-5 to 4 is the score.
To
and
0.
To 0, sorry. And it is my final movie, so I cannot win. But also Mick can't win because he can get 4 here. And Sterling has 7. Darcy could win, though. Here we go. My final movie is 2 years after the disastrous events in Las Vegas, it's now Stu's turn to walk down the aisle. Since his bride is from Thailand, Stu decides to hold the wedding there, desperately hoping to avoid the mayhem of Doug's bachelor party. Stu chooses what he thinks will be a safe option, an alcohol-free pre-wedding brunch, but this being Thailand and Phil and Alan again in attendance, anything can happen. It is Hangover 2. Sterling, you will have a Hangover 2 on tomorrow
Didn't
morning.
happen in Vegas. Is that why you picked
my neck
it?
hurts.
Yeah.
Didn't happen.
They don't like the. It was still pretty good, but not the same as the original. I will go 57%.
I'll say 72.
I'm going to split that difference somehow and go 63.
Sterling, 35.
Nice.
35% on the critics. But was it a cult classic like the first one was, Michael?
56.
60.
63.
Michael, 52%.
Yeah, that's a good one. Michael,
Final
that's a good one.
score, 8 for Sterling, 5 for Michael,
Say my name,
5
say
for
my
me.
score.
Mick wasn't with us today, which was unfortunate. He couldn't participate.
Yeah, I couldn't do the.
So
I have.
top
there
three
you go.
stories.
I
either.
have so many people.
All right, wrapping up the show here on this Wednesday. Mick Schaefer, presented by Advent Health Sports Park at Blue Hawk, where you can go and enjoy a birthday party if you want to, or many, many, many birthday parties. Do you guys do resolutions? Mick, do you do a resolution at all?
This is another game I wasn't invited to, but yeah, I can come up with something again at the top of my head.
No, I'm not even saying to come up with one. I'm just saying, do you?
No, I'm a grown-up, and I know I'm going to screw it up. I've tried this before.
Do you want to join mine?
Which is what?
Smoke more cigars, work out less, be more unhealthy. If I want to drink a drink, I'm gonna drink that drink.
Maybe I should join that and try to do it. And since I fail at all of them,
yeah,
I'll
that's a good
fail
point.
backwards and it'll be better.
I'm gonna try to eat unhealthy.
Yeah.
And therefore, I'm going to fail at my resolution, and I'm just going to be eating like carrots and broccoli and grilled chicken the whole time. Yeah. Michael, do you resolve to do anything?
No.
You don't resolve anything? Okay, that's good.
I just try to be better.
All the beef, just leave it out there. There's nothing that's going to be resolved for me starting tonight. Sterling?
What's that question?
You really are just going to smoke more cigars?
I'll probably smoke one on tomorrow.
We should hold each other accountable to this. It's always better doing it with a pair.
Hey, you want to be my accountability buddy?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm in.
Cool.
Michael, you want to be my thunder buddy?
Sure.
Thank you.
They call me Dragon.
Night Wolf.
No, you're so close. Nighthawk.
Nighthawk. Dang it.
Very close. Very close.
Night Wolf.
I
saved wolves come out.
I
saved
saved,
wolf.
guys,
What else are you
I
gonna see a
saved a
wolf?
dog yesterday. I forgot about this. There's been a dog
Night
been
wolf?
missing for like 7 days. Found it. Called them, and they were able to get the dog. I saved a dog
Nice.
yesterday.
As long as you don't tell somebody, hey, man, I'll see you next year. As long as you don't do that, you're totally fine.
I've already done that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think it's so
Hilarious.
stupid. See you guys next
I'll
year.
see you Friday,
Dang it.
maybe.